May I have your attention? May I please have your attention? Super Sundays. Yeah, baby. We're back at it again. Let's get it.
Let's get it. Let's get it.
Let's get it. What's up, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Sir Hill Speaks Super Sundays. I'm glad that you're here. I wanted to take a moment to tell you guys how much I appreciate you. We've been doing these shows for months now, and you guys have been showing up consistently as we take on and we tackle different challenges and different topics. So I appreciate it. But here's what we're trying to do going forward. We want to grow this audience to people who need to hear content like this. And so we need your help. How can you help us? That's a fantastic question. Be sure to make sure you hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe and make sure you hit that notification bell for all of the content that we have, particularly Super Sundays. All right, guys, sit back, relax, enjoy. Make sure you invite somebody to Sir Hill Speaks Super Sundays. We're getting ready to go in. We're going to have a good time. Happy Sunday, everybody. Let's get to the show.
Go dummy, go beast on them. I go beast. Go deep, I OD on them. Apply pressure, put heat on them. Put that 5 0 degrees on them. 500 degrees. Go dummy, go beast on them. I go beast. Go deep, I OD on them. Apply pressure, put heat on them. Put that 5 0 degrees on them. 500 degrees. Down, levitate, going up, elevate. Watch me demonstrate. On time, never late. I grind, celebrate. No pump, fake, hesitate. I've been scoring every day. Champagne, Perrier. Since 9-3, been in the box, now stepping up to home. Like straight out the sandlot, now I'm plotting on the globe. I work hard, I show love, that karma steady growing. Got this far, I go hard, let God take control. I was starving skinny, now my weight up, got no energy for haters. See you trying, see you later. I'm shooting for the stars, need no laser beam, blowing like the greatest, but it's one who's always greater. Yo, go dummy, go beast on them. I go beast, go deep, I OD on them. Apply pressure, put heat on them. Put that 5 0 degrees on them. 500 degrees. Go dummy, go beast on them. I go beast, go deep, I OD on them. Apply pressure, put heat on them. Put that 5 0 degrees on them. Smell good, skin clear. This here my year. Hey, look up here. This here my tier. Same fit 4 days. I grind 4 ways. I play no games. All me, no blame. On the wave, my own wave. Can't stop my shine. In the lane, my own lane. Can't stop my grind. 40 yard in the V12 and like 1.5. At 19, I cleared 19 in a month, no lie. Oh God. I was starving skinny, now my weight up, got no energy for haters. See you trying, see you later. I'm shooting for the stars, need no laser beam, blowing like the greatest, but it's one who's always greater. Yo, go dummy, go beast on them. I go beast, go deep, I OD on them. Apply pressure, put heat on them. Put that 5 0 degrees on them. 500 degrees. Go dummy, go beast on them. I go beast, go deep, I OD on them. Apply pressure, put heat on them. Put that 5 0 degrees on them. 500 degrees.
Salute, ladies and gentlemen. Glad to see everybody in the building. We're getting ready for another show. We're back at it ready again with the full cast. We are in the building. Everybody, can we say what's up to the people of the chat? What's going on, folks?
Hello.
What is good, everybody?
Good evening. Salute.
Yeah, we're gonna have a good time, y'all. We're gonna have a good time. I'm glad to see everybody. Oh, let me fix the camera. My bad, y'all. Oh, my bad. We in the building now, y'all. I'm up there talking like the Wizard of Oz, but it's good. We back in the building, y'all. Glad to see everybody here tonight. Listen, if you guys are just tuning in, do me a favor, hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, like, we don't know what you're doing. Come on, subscribe, and then tell somebody to come over for a great conversation as well. We've got Reckless Ray in the building. We've got Lost in Translation podcast in the building. We've got the one and the only beautifully animated Speak. She's in the building. We've got Sean Bolden in the building, and we've got somebody new. We've got Tamia. She's in the building. We're gonna have a great show tonight, y'all. Before we start, I got a question for everybody. How was your week?
Great.
Yeah,
So far, so good.
Okay.
It was good. It was
Blessed
good.
and highly favored.
Okay.
I mean, I had a good week. I don't know about my dad though. You know, he had to be taken to the hospital.
Oh,
Yeah, so you know, he spent 79 and a half years not drinking alcohol. He saw Truly's for sale and bought some lemonade. He didn't see that 5% alcohol.
listen, you get 70, you do what you want to do.
No,
Oh,
he does not. He's against the alcohol. He didn't see that 5% alcohol.
Oh,
there.
okay. I see what
He
you're
thought
saying.
he was just drinking lemonade on sale.
Oh no.
He's like, God dang it!
Well, dope in the show. Well, listen, I think we're ready for a dope show. Yeah, are you guys ready for the first topic?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right,
You know,
y'all.
I
Let's
stay ready.
let's get to it. So let's take a look at this clip, and then we're going to come back and we'll react to it. Take a look at this first clip.
Mhm.
Oh, my darling. Oh, my darling, are you having another nightmare?
That wasn't the first clip, guys. My bad.
You ain't right for that.
My bad, folks. Let's get to the meat of the show. Hold on a second.
That night, I'm sure that nightmare felt real, huh?
That's a heck of an introduction. All right, here's the first one.
The number one thing that women love. We love a brave man. Not somebody who like cowers away in a corner, not engaging in conversation. Brave men are so exciting. I mean brave in a sense of you having the balls to get up, walk over and talk to them. You're too scared to talk to them? Do it anyways. You're too scared to compliment them? Do it anyways. Push that resistance. That is the only way you are going to become more brave.
All right,
I
excellent.
didn't see
So,
nothing wrong with what she said.
yep. So here's a question. So most men can have the woman that they want. They just lack confidence. Is this true or not? Let's start with Reckless Ray.
I would say yes and no. Some of yes, in the sense that if your barrier for entry for said woman is going over and talking to her and you are too cowardly to do so, yes.
Yeah.
Then yes, you can have the woman that you want, the woman of your dreams. But some of y'all are dysgenic sacks of potatoes. And those women don't want you. And what you're going to do is you're going to get yourself kicked out of whatever gym you're in. You're going to get yourself fired from your job. And it's just going to be bad. Like you got to be on your square before you can step into the bravery circle, because there's most likely a reason you didn't go speak to that woman. There is. Let's be honest. Most likely, if you're on your square and you do have options and you are confident and you do have women show interest in you, you do have women receive what you say, well, there's no reason for you to not have that conversation. So the question I would have is, what's causing you to be apprehensive about speaking to that woman, whoever that woman is, before you get yourself banned from the gym and have to go find a new gym? You should figure that out.
Absolutely. For your protection. Absolutely.
Yes.
Lost in translation. What about you? Most men can have the woman they want. They just lack the confidence. Is this true or false?
You mute it. Well, no, wait. We can't hear you.
Here we go.
Okay.
There it is.
Better.
Yeah.
That's even better. I bet y'all can hear me now. Listen, I think that any man could do what he needs to do. You know what I mean? If he got the right enough confidence. Now, here's the thing: when you're younger, you would do something like that, walk up to a chick, let me holler at you for a minute. Let me holler. You know what I'm saying? You would normally do that. But when you get a little older and a little seasoned, you don't run up to every woman. You want to make sure that this person actually qualifies for what you got going on. You know what I mean? Sometimes that may take you a minute to understand. And if it looks like there's somebody who, who could fit your program, then yeah, you would probably want to talk to her. That type of situation. But if you're younger or something like that, that's good for you young guys. But for us older guys, there's really no rush. You know what I mean? We want somebody that's going to fit on our program instead of us trying to acquiesce to somebody else's fantasy of how Sir Lancelot of Galahad is supposed to roll in on his shiny horse to come in and sweep up off her feet. Men don't usually do that today. You know what I mean? We want to look to see if you're going to be the type of woman that, I can see myself with later on. Is this person classy? That type of thing. So yes, if you have enough confidence, Sir Hell, you should be able to do that. But it really depends on the guy and where he is in life.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point. So are you saying that, are you talking about money? So it depends on how much money he's making in this point of life, or his confidence, maturity?
It's confidence, period. Because here's the thing, confidence comes way before money. You know what I mean? Because here's the thing, if you already got the money, I mean, you already know what you're doing, you know what I mean? That type of thing. But if you can get the confidence before you get the money, oh my goodness, there's nowhere you can go but up. You know what I mean? That type of thing. It really don't matter. Do you know how many women have got it with Pookie and he has absolutely no money, but he has all the swag in the world? Come on, man. It's all about the confidence. That confidence comes first, even when you ain't got nothing. You know what you got inside of you. And no matter what you got or where you are, there you are.
That's like some straight Black history poetry. So
right.
To lit the building. I see what you're doing, brother. Tamia, what about you? Is it Tamia? How do I pronounce it?
It's Tamia.
Tamia, good. Glad you're on. Everybody in the chat, show some love for the first time guest on the panel. Tamia is in the building. Y'all show some love in the chat. Show some love. I'm glad that you're here. So the question is on the table. Most men can have the woman they want. Most men just lack the confidence. Is this true or false?
I believe this is true. I believe that confidence is what pushes your drive to go and present yourself to someone, male or female, but definitely with a male, because you want to ensure, especially just as a male figure in a relationship or romantically, you need confidence. You need to show like you should be on my side. Without that, a woman more than likely would be like kind of in a gray area about talking to you or opening her time to you if you yourself are like, hi. So I definitely feel as though confidence is really vital, and that there could be great, it doesn't define the man you are, but I definitely feel like if you don't have the confidence, you'll leave and you won't speak to her, and then that takes away your opportunity. Yeah. What's your thoughts?
Let me ask you a question before we go to Youth 30 Minute Speaks.
Yeah.
So you believe that men could have a confidence. Is it true that most women, though, only see a certain portion of men, and these are only the men who they deem, are eligible for them?
Are you saying in reference to like a type, or like how they visualize men before they even get to know them?
Yeah, in general.
I do feel like we have eyes for certain types of men. I feel like there is a general scheme like of checklists for women. With men, I definitely feel that confidence is on that list. I feel like how a man presents himself, his energy, his body language is definitely a thing that women are looking for. Usually women their eyes aren't turned by the man who is probably in the corner or looks, because let me say this, confidence doesn't mean boastful. It doesn't mean loud. Like our conversation, Sir Hale, that we had the other day, like an alpha male doesn't need to speak, but it's more so about how he presents himself. So I'm not saying confidence means yap, yap, yap at the mouth, but I do feel like women definitely their eyes draw to what we would probably say an alpha male, or a man that's presenting himself as, hey, it could be the eyes. Sometimes you can tell from a man looking at you that he's interested. And I think that also takes confidence to make that eye contact or to spark some type of like, I'm watching you, you're watching me. So I definitely think women do look for certain kind of guy. Now, if you're speaking in terms of like stature, I'll say that varies, but I do know that most women want somebody who seems like they're well off. So they may not look at the guy but that can limit us. I'm speaking from a woman myself. I'm married, so I'm not in the pool, but I definitely know women can limit themselves by just having this image in their head and not remaining open-minded. So every wealthy individual does not appear so externally. Every wealthy individual doesn't look like, oh, I'm walking around with a bunch of money. So I definitely think that some women look for that to reflect outward, and that can limit them. But I hope I answered your question properly.
No, you did. I appreciate that honesty. I appreciate that, because a lot of women will say, man, just be confident. You can have any woman you want, and then that man ugly to her, and she, you said be confident. Now he approached you. Now you're screaming, right? So I think it's important for me to understand that not every woman's gonna want you, and that's okay. You know what I mean?
Okay, so as a woman, right? You're mentioning that, like, let's say my friend, guy comes up to her, he's confident, he's not the most attractive, but let's say maybe, okay, it's at the workplace, so he gets to see her on a regular basis. If that guy, that not so attractive guy brings flowers one day, and then he's like, hey, like, if he's persistent, he might, it's like Pookie. He might get a date. Now, at first, she was like,
oh, see, this about to take a turn.
No.
Okay, maybe it won't last.
No, that's
no. The thing is,
when you added flowers, like that's a little bit too much to be doing that at the job. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to be real careful at the job.
Well, I'm just speaking. Well, I mentioned the job in reference to somebody that she's gonna see over a certain amount of time. So maybe they're mutual friends. So maybe let me say they're mutual friend. They have a mutual friend. They end up seeing each other on a regular basis. Something that allows them to have consistent, communication with her. I definitely feel like it may take more, which has to do with that roadblock because of external attraction. But if he's persistent, which would take confidence, he can get anything he wants.
Let me translate what to me is saying. If you're a little bit attractive, pursue. If you're not that attractive to her, lawsuit. Let me get to Sean Bolden real quickly. Sean, the question is on you. Most men can have the woman they want. They just lack the confidence. True or false?
True. Men, if you have confidence, you can have anything you want. Woman, goals, achievements, you can have whatever you want. And it takes a lot to sometimes build that confidence. But absolutely, you can have any woman they want. And what builds confidence sometimes is what gets skewed, as we said earlier. Money sometimes gives a false sense of confidence. And therefore, you go ahead and you start broadcasting, and yet that is what is attracting the person and not the confidence within. And if the money attracts you, once the money's gone, so is all of the all that you're attracted with it.
Mm-hmm. Good point. Very good point. To me, keep what you said. That the very next question we go to is going to deal with that. So keep that in mind. Beautiful Lady made it focus on you. Most men can have the woman they want. They just like the confidence.
Go ahead, Sean.
No, I was just going to say, Sahel, I got to run in real quick, but I will be chiming back in. Lady, I'm pleasure seeing you guys. I'll be back as soon as I can.
That's
good deal. We'll see you in a little bit, Sean.
Later, Sean. So, hell, I'm gonna double back on that question when you're done.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes, we are.
Now,
I beautifully made it. It's on you.
Okay, the whole thing about confidence, because first of all, what LIT said, you're talking about someone with confidence still that can chill out and gauge the female that he's looking at to see whether or not she's worthy of his time or not. So that's still not speaking on someone who lacks confidence. And the thing about confidence, it's not that it will get you any and everything. It just means that you have a better chance at getting anything you want. You have a better chance than someone lacking confidence, because the lack of confidence is weak. It shows weakness, and most people are not here for weakness. Most women are not out here for weakness. let's see, for the job thing, I've worked with somebody and dated them, and it did have to do with our time knowing each other through our work, through our job. We went out with my sister and her boyfriend or husband, whatever. And it's like, she's like, you must really like this dude because he's not your usual, like appearance wise. I was like, he's all right. I mean, he looks nice. And she's like, no. I couldn't even have his back.
Oh my god, that's the reason he gone now. Like,
Was it his confidence that made you attracted to him?
Yeah. He had confidence, and he was he took care of things. He was assertive, and so it's like, first of all, we started off as friends because we worked together and we were constantly in conversation together and stuff like that. So I mean, really, I say I couldn't have his back, like look wise, like as far as my sister saying that he wasn't my norm, because he wasn't my normal fit, whatever, look wise, but his attitude and things of that nature is what attracted me, and the fact that we start off as friends.
That's what I meant.
Yeah. Well, no, I had to correct you with the flower thing because don't do no flowers. Okay, when you working with this chick and stuff like that, and you don't know what's up, like, it's the sexual harassment thing. That's what you have to be careful of. And the problem with sexual harassment is not just that female you're looking at talking to. It's the other females.
Man, it ain't 30 minutes in, man. Settle down.
It's some other females for real though. Because when you go to these classes, not go to them, but, have your online thing for the job. You got to get your hours in on the sexual harassment class. They tell you that anyone can file sexual harassment. So LIT can be talking to me, and Tamia can be like, I didn't feel comfortable with him talking to her.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a sexual harassment filed. You don't even have to be talking to that person, and they can file that charge on you, that complaint on you, which is bullshit to me, but you better watch your ass.
My question is going to be exactly. So it seems that in our modern times, with this whole Me Too movement and women being triggered by every single thing that men do, you have poisoned all the wells where you can find good men at this point, because it is now a risk for us to even speak to you at work. It is a risk for us to even speak to you at the gym. But then not only that, on the flip side of that, specifically in the work situation, when we don't want to mentor women because of what could be said to extract resources from us, we are also chastised for that. Because what are we supposed to be afraid of? Literally, a woman being able to say anything and we're supposed to believe her by default so that the man's guilty. That's what we're afraid of.
That's why, as a man, when you're in the workplace, your reputation should be impeccable. You know what I mean? You should always conduct yourself as a gentleman, no matter what. And you have to also protect yourself when you're mentoring other people. Like, say, for instance, if I had somebody I was mentoring or coaching, I was bringing a female supervisor along with me as well, too, to cover yourself with stuff like that. But that's HR, and that's another thing.
And definitely, and I wasn't even like referring to like him like romanticizing a woman at the workplace. Like, I think there's a particular way to do everything. But I was just, again, meaning in the sense of there's a way that he continuously gets to see her or speak with her and express interest. You may be at work.
But if you say hi wrong, that can be harassment, and you will be up out of there.
My thing,
like,
And I would assume that he would have read the room before doing that.
But
like,
no. I'm saying just saying hello. Like if you come in and you say hello, and she was like, he took 2 seconds longer to say hi to me than everybody else, I feel uncomfortable. You're fired.
Well,
that's the state that we live in right now.
That's a different type of problem with that individual. So
they can do whatever when it comes to sexual harassment. But
thank you.
It's because just like anybody can sue somebody. It can be done. Yeah. It's not. It may not always be backed, or
but that still goes on your name. That's still. Look at what we've done to everybody else. Look at what we've done to all the other celebrity cases where they lied, and nobody comes back and apologizes. There's no backtrack. Yeah. We just keep it pushing, and that person's name is ruined. It doesn't matter. That's the problem. Is it doesn't matter if it's factual or not at this point.
Right.
You can just do this to take men out and fight the patriarchy.
Now, Sir Harold, to double back on what you were saying earlier about a woman liking a man with confidence. Yeah. Sometimes you could not even be showing confidence toward her. It's the fact that she sees you in your element that draws that confidence. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because women will be enticed by how you handle your business on the job. You see what I'm saying? Oh, yeah, I like how he does that, or I like how he carries himself, that type of thing. You could not even be trying. And I tell guys who are supervisors all the time, you got to be careful of that, because you'll have women who will get attracted to the position and not you. Mm-hmm. And you got to be careful with that too, because sometimes people can't differentiate between the two, the position and who you are at the same time. So yeah, people could fall in love with your confidence when you're doing other things. You know what I mean? When you're in your element. Because when a woman sees you in your element, and she sees you taking care of business, in her mind, that is a check box that she's checking off in her security box. You know what I mean? Because women like to be secure. So if they know you're taking care of business in this area, they automatically assume that you can handle business elsewhere. And that is a check box that they have to have.
Yeah. But my whole thing about on the job thing is, I know we can be like kind of open, like say whatever when it comes to things, whatever, but certain things like on the job, you have to be specific. You can't leave any room for the wrong interpretation or what you're saying to people to do at the job, because they may take you like literally when you're just speaking figuratively and get themselves in trouble. So when it comes to on the job and trying to talk to people on the job, your advice has to be very clear, because you don't want somebody taking it wrong and then doing like coming to work with a whole vase of vase of flowers to my hey baby.
Let's dig into this. I got a question. Shout out to us, a security boss, SBU Live with a $10 super chat. She says, shout out to Sir Harold Speaks, my friends on the panel and the chat. Salute to SBU Live. Y'all, everybody, we are following, but in case you're not, everybody, be sure to subscribe to the incomparable SBU Live. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Much love to you and appreciate it. Thank you so much. But I want to extend upon something, because anytime we talk about harassment, we often think about that from men to women. Isn't it possible that women are perpetuators of harassment toward men as well? And if so, what does that look like in the workplace?
Wait. They don't not only harass the men, they harass other women too.
Especially if it's against the guy that they like. You know what I mean? That type of thing goes all the time. I don't like the way she's coming up to your desk all the time, talking about, hey, how you doing, lit? You know what I'm saying? And they get into it, boy. They want to report each other and all type of stuff. So it happens. It happens.
It does happen. I'll tell you exactly how it looks like. Every time a woman who I do not find attractive approaches me and says anything, I personally feel harassed just like y'all do.
Wow.
Don't talk to me. Like, I'm sorry. You are dysgenic. Don't look at me. Don't talk to me. I'm look, just like y'all do. I'm just trying to get my gallon of milk, ma'am. Please get out of my face. Like you don't exist. Matter of fact, y'all are invisible. And I look at you while you're invisible while you're talking to me like this. Like, why are you doing this? Like, why are you putting me in this situation? But if I go say something, you're not going to get fired. Hold on. Has it been 30 minutes? I'm just an asshole. Okay. Like that's it. It's soup. Like women, y'all are just as annoying as you say men are. Just as annoying. We just don't get to say anything about it or be rude. Like, it's actually probably more annoying. You know how many times these dysgenic homunculi hyenas come up and want to touch me? They just start touching me. They come up, oh, Ray. Oh, Sir Hale, look at them pythons. Let me touch them. How are you doing? Be like, I was doing better before you started touching me with your grubby hands. Fingernails so long, I know there's fecal matter somewhere in this scenario. Now I got to wash my arm that I previously washed before I came here. Don't touch me.
You need
and
some
don't talk to
sanitizer, man. Like, you know.
Yes.
Your reckless way, tell us how you feel. Tell us.
Annoyed. I feel annoyed and underrepresented. Okay.
Man,
You know what you're saying is true though, and I don't like to bring it up, but that has happened to me in the office before. So I wear shirts and ties now a lot. The reason why is I will go into the office and I would get rubbed on a lot. And at first you think it's just people admiring you, but a lot of women would take it way too far. I'm not talking about a hand on the arm. I'm talking about a rub down the arm or on the back, and their comments would be really suggestive. And I think the difference in our culture is women are quick to perceive something as that might not be that. And men are quick to overlook it when it is that. What do you guys think about that? Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Anytime you come to the office with your suit on, smelling good, all they want to do is rub all on your chest, on the back of on your jacket, and say, you sure do look good today. You know what I mean? But if you had to pull that mess in your messed up clothes, then they would have been like, you're harassing me. You know what I'm saying? Especially if it's somebody they don't like.
Guys who are in a well-tailored suit are sexy. I don't give a damn what size y'all.
I'm gonna tell you like Dave Chappelle said, just because I'm dressed that way
doesn't make me
that way.
right. You know,
but I do think that we don't
damage.
respect it like that when it comes to men. Because I think men, we kind of like the attention. But if we're comparing apples to apples, it is what it is. Like a man could not go to a woman and rub her arm and say, you have really nice toned arms. Have you been in the gym? Like that, you're getting reported. A woman can come do that in front of managers, right? And the perception is just different. So I think that's something we got to address to the point of this whole topic. I think that's why it's difficult for men to be quote unquote confident, because we got a lot of stuff to consider, because it's a risk for us to be confident, in today's dating market. What do you guys think about that?
You definitely got to be careful.
Yeah,
sure.
It's part of the agenda. They don't want confident men, so they make it risky for you to be confident so that you learn to walk with your tail between your legs and you do not function as a man. That's part of the game. You can't be manly in some spaces, period. If you're attacking men and masculinity, there can be no masculinity. All of it has to be toxic. It's an either or until the women start complaining that there's no real men left.
Or nobody ever approaches them.
Right.
Or nobody takes them out anymore.
Right. Or no one gets doors for them. No one held the door for me.
To me, so just so you know, we like family here. So we just gonna keep on talking, like cut us off. Like, come on in with it. I see you got something to say.
Sorry, Tamia.
No, you're good. You're good. You're fine. In regard to the women being so touchy-feely, which is no excuse for it. It's not right. You should always, personal space, give personal space, and ask for permission. I think that definitely comes from, though, maybe the perception. I'm not one of those women, but maybe the perception of, well, men are so vocal about their attractions, and men are usually they like compliments. They like to be, that's the idea that women have. I'm not saying it's the right one and that applies to every man, because it doesn't. But I think there's just a general scheme of he's gonna like that. That's gonna boost his ego because he's a man, and because I know that men think sexually first usually. So maybe he'll like that I'm doing that. And I think it's a very poor assumption, but I definitely feel like that's where that comes from, where the rubbing on the arm or, oh, you smell nice and all those. It's maybe he would have probably said that about me, or he's probably thinking that about me. So why would he have a problem with me complimenting him or complimenting his muscles? Don't they do that for women to see them? Which would be a very poor thought process, but I really do think that that's where that happens. And then for Reckless Ray, you said there's an agenda. I'd like to hear more about the agenda of like women not wanting confident men, because I think that women do want confident men because women don't speak to confident men. Well,
Deep down,
women don't
deep
speak to
down,
men that aren't confident usually.
yeah, sure you do. Sure they do all the time. Every time you see what we would call a confident woman or a baddie with a pookie, that is a woman who is not actually confident. You guys can say whatever you want. The way that you carry yourselves and your actions speak volumes over your words. There's no way in hell that a confident person is going to subject themselves to being under or reproducing with a man who is not a man. That is
100%.
reproducing with a man, with a grown age child that is beneath you, that you know is beneath you.
100%. That's a lack of understanding self-worth.
So
yeah.
Right. So for men, when we go to the agenda, I'm not saying that it's an agenda perpetuated by women. It's an agenda perpetuated by the society. The reason that we have the single mother households, the reason that we have two separate things, two separate men and women fighting each other, this whole gender war thing. Women innately do want confident men. But if you look at their list, they list off a bunch of line items that have nothing to do with men who conquered and built this planet. Oh, I want them to be funny. I want them to be sensitive. You know what sensitive men do? They cry a lot. They don't go get jobs if you make more money than them. They don't work hard. They're not grinders. They're not people who build society. And I'm not saying that everyone is going to attain the levels that some of the men on this panel and some men aspire to, but you should be looking to a man to be under a man's covering that is trying to be the best version of himself. And most of these people are not. Like, if you're aspiring to just be average, you are not aspiring to be the best version of yourself. People died for you to get here. You have a whole lineage that's behind you for you to talk about what you're not going to do as a man. And I don't want to work hard, and I don't want to be the best version of myself. Because we live in a country that has gotten soft. It's gotten so soft that we've allowed outside influences to start influencing our culture and the way that we are built up. And in order to destabilize a culture, you attack through the women, but you have to demoralize the men to the point to where they're no longer capable of fighting or defending themselves. Confident men are normally non-agreeable men. We're kind of assholes. We're willing to go to fisticuffs over stuff if you cross our boundaries. We're willing to fight. We're willing to say, this is the line. If you cross it, there will be a consequence. That's going to be a carnal one if needed. What they are doing is the agenda is to remove that. They need the fangs removed so that the men can no longer defend. And once you run out of men, this gets taken over. And when societies get taken over, the stuff that happens to women is downright gruesome. I mean, you can look at what's going on. Look at what's going on over in Ukraine right now. Them chicks over there done already jumped ship on their dudes. They're out there on Tinder hooking up with Germans or Russians. My bad. They're already trying to find the winners. So, and anyone who comes here is going to be coming from a different position than the men that y'all are used to dealing with. So how do the modern women survive that? Because they won't keep you. They'll get rid of you, just like the rest of us. So if you want to be masculine, that's dope. But like, you better be willing to pick up a gun and fight for this when the time comes, because after all the men are gone, it's on you.
And this is why Reckless Ray works on winners only. What he said is straight facts. Shout out to the Quiet Storm with the $20 super chat. He is a member. He is a moderator, and he is a contributor. The triple trifecta is in the building. Appreciate you, sir. Thank you so much. He says, Reckless Ray De Niro is right. I almost got fired last week after I told a woman to remove her hand from my arm. Now, let me read this again, make sure I read it right. Mm-hmm. I almost got fired last week after I told a woman to remove her hand from my arm. If it wasn't for another coworker speaking up, I would have been done. But these stories never get told. What do you guys think about that? Mm-hmm.
They never get told because the society still does not support and back up the men. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like really, this stuff happens not because it happens because these trifling females don't think or don't care about the fact that men can be disrespected and violated, just like anybody. Anybody can be disrespected and violated. And it's not, the old shit. It's like sexual harassment is only based on men as the aggressors and women as the victims and stuff like that. No, it's man on woman, woman on man, man on man, woman on woman.
Beautifully animated. Let me ask you a question, and this is for you too, Tamia. Is it men's fault that it's not perceived in the same manner? In other words, like we should, if we want it to be considered as strongly when a woman reports it, that means us men have to be more proactive and intentional about reporting any and every incident of this. So is it men's fault that it's perceived this way?
I don't want to use the language fault. I think that a lot of men for many years didn't speak up because of the pressure to appear hyper masculine and to not really show what they struggle with or reflect their emotions or show that they actually have emotional intelligence. So I think that there was just a blind eye for so many years. And a lot of men didn't speak out about their sexual harassment experiences or being uncomfortable with women touching and feeling on them or complimenting them, whatever it is, whatever harassment or discomfort they may have experienced. I think that that's what is making it not difficult, because at this point I just think it's disregarding and it's disrespectful. But why others are not seeing the fact that this has not just happened to women. Like it's impossible for it to just happen to women. Like there's points where men do not want that. So I think the gender roles where it's like, oh yeah, a man always is a sex symbol. Like a man always wants sex. A man always wants this. That kind of idea that's been going on for years. And now it's like present day, people are like, men have voices too. This happens to me as well. As mental health awareness and things like that become more of a conversation, I think it comes out more. But I definitely believe that men having to appear like armor, shield at all times, it wasn't discussed. So I don't think it's a fault thing. I just think it's societal, like just how it was working in terms of communication.
But when we do talk in our spaces,
yeah,
we're told to just man up. Like it's not that it hasn't been talked about. It's that the honest to God truth, and this is fair. First thing is, this is actually, there's no such thing as fair. It's just the way stuff is. No one gives a fuck about men, which is fine. We build everything. It's a thankless job being a man. The more we try to make it not a thankless job, the worse these men are going to be, the weaker they're going to be, because no one's going to care. The other men that are out here, we're not going to care. We care within our tribe as long as it's solutions based. But like, you don't get to just take a year to go find yourself and wander through the forest and, pet a baby calf until you figure it out. Like, you're a man, get to work.
Right.
What I'm saying is in these office spaces, it used to just go both ways. And then we made it one way to where now a man cannot have his resources taken if he says something wrong, where we're on eggshells with one and the other group is running rampant, because the reason there's a double standard on that is because no one gives a fuck about us. And there's nothing we're going to do to change that, because most of these women in these power positions are actively fighting the patriarchy. They're not going to. They want this.
And that's why
the problem is men are not taken seriously, not even by other men. I mean, you can be like, oh man, she said this, she had this to say about me or to me, whatever, or she touched my arm or whatever. It's like, nah, dog, you tripping.
And where does that come from? That comes from that hyper masculine mindset and mentality that's been going on for years. Like I said, it's not okay, but this idea, you have to get that idea.
It's not all about
hyper. That idea had to come from somewhere that men can't be hurt, or men can't have these feelings.
I don't think harassment of that nature.
It's not just about hyper.
Hey guys, I wanted her to finish her thought though really quickly, and then beautifully Nina speaks. Tamia, I'm sorry. Can you finish your thought? Yeah, and then beautifully animated speaks has something to say as well.
Of course. So what I'm saying about hypermasculinity is about the fact that comes from a space of men should not speak up about how they feel. You should appear as though nothing is wrong. You are the strong person in the room. You need to show up. If you fall, get back up. Like Reckless was saying, get back to work. That is a mentality that has been etched into men's brain to an unhealthy extent for many years, to now where there's this unhealthy reaction to when men are like, hey, I don't feel good. Hey, I'm depressed. Hey, this made me feel, violated. It's like, how? You're a man. Because there was a mentality etched in our brains that gets passed down because we're human and we acclimate to certain norms. And so now when I didn't say it was okay, but that's why people are dismissive. So I'm not supporting them, but it's the truth that for many years, men weren't speaking because they felt like no one was going to care because I'm supposed to be a man, right? Which is unhealthy and it's not right. I don't believe in it at all. I have 2 sons. You know, I always tell them, speak about how you feel, speak up, let me know what's going on, what's wrong with you, what's happening. They don't feel like they have a wonderful father in the house with them. And they know that does not take away them being boys or anything like that. But you have to teach that. So that they can vouch for themselves. So when you're in the room with individuals that are telling you, oh, ha, 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 you say, no, don't laugh it off. I'm serious. Like, I'm still the man I am, but I'm serious. But it is true that is not I'm not saying that's the case now, but I'm saying behind it, I'm a psychologist as well. Like, behind it is how our minds were trained to function. And it's not a right or wrong. It's just, that's what I meant, like, y'all, there are tons of men in here. You were told, like, oh, you scrape your knee, get up. What are you crying for? So it's the same. Then when you get into sexuality, where a lot of men's strengths come from.
So let me ask you something really quickly before we get to Beautiful in a Minute Speaks. Are we suggesting that men being told you scrape your knee, get up is going to be okay, that was a bad thing?
No, it's not a bad thing. I was just giving it as an example. Like, yes, my husband does it. Like, if the boys are crying about something, he's like, listen, toughen up. There's areas where that fits. Men were raised across the board, though. Like, they weren't taught the areas where it was okay.
Great clarity.
Great clarity.
Okay.
Like, y'all were just across the board. Get up, I scrape figuratively speaking, get up, I scrape my knee, keep going, became an across the board concept. So nobody when it wasn't scrape my knee and it was as serious as harassment, it was still this get up, gotta keep going concept. The distinction wasn't settled.
That's a good. Beautiful in a Minute Speaks. That was a good stuff to me. That was good.
All right. My thing is, it's not just about hyper masculinity and stuff. So you got that. Oh, you can't be harmed by like they can say you messed with somebody, Tamia. You look like an itty bitty thing, right? And so men are not gonna take that seriously. Oh, you were attacked by this little lady. You know what I'm saying? And when that happens, and there's you constantly hear that. You may not be the man who's being told this. You can just be in the group of men. You're hearing other guys tell another dude this. It makes you kind of what I would say tired in a sense. If they're not being supported, what's the point of saying anything with anybody during anything? If you're constantly being told that, nah, you crazy and stuff like that, or you're not being taken seriously when this shit is important and it's very serious, you're just gonna stay silent. What's the point of saying something and no one's gonna have my back?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and when I say have a person's back, I mean anybody, man or woman. If you see somebody, if you witness something, it is on you to speak up and have their back. I've never been a quiet person, especially when it comes to any bullshit. If I see something, or one of y'all would come to me like, hey, this is going on, can you be a witness, whatever? Hell yeah. If I see something and see you were uncomfortable, I might be like, hey, this situation happened. It needs to be taken care of. Yep. Oh yeah, I've been called to be a witness to certain things, or I've had to take care of things for other people. Some people were like, hey, I don't feel comfortable with this person, but I don't want to say nothing. I'll go with you. Let's go. Because I'm not the quiet one.
You know what, Lady Boy, what you're saying, this wasn't even part of the show tonight, but I'm glad this has come up, because I do think that we have to start addressing the elephant in the room, and that is we as a society criminalize things for men that we give women passes on.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're going to form a deeper level of respect between men and women, we both got to respect boundaries. And women can't use femininity as a way of getting out of that respect, and men can't allow it as well. So this is really good stuff, fellas. Did you guys want to have input on this?
Yes.
Before we next topic?
Yes. Well, I had one thing, and it's just in regards to being you've got to take your time and talk about what's wrong and process through your stuff, and the high levels of competition that you have to deal with amongst men. That also doesn't matter. No one cares. The world does not stop. Business does not stop. If you're competing with me, I will put you, your company, everyone who's under you out of work if you stop, and I don't. And I'm not going to feel bad about it. I actually enjoy doing that. It's what I do for a living. I will send you all home, and I'll take the best of what you had. I'll make it mine. Because those things do not matter in competition amongst men, or period, amongst the world. We're out here competing for resources at the end of the day, which means that, like, if you're not performing or there's a way for me to get an edge, I'm taking it and I'm going to win. This is winners only. I also hold myself to that same standard. If I get hurt, regardless of whether it's emotional, physical, you send demons after me, we boxing all night. Guess what? I'm getting up in the morning. We all go into work together then. Because that's the way competition works for men. We don't have that leeway at the end of the day if we're out here competing. Like, if Sir Hale takes a year off, his channel's not going to be where it's at. He's going to have to fight to come back, and somebody's going to come fill that spot immediately. And it's not fair, but the world is not fair. This is just the way that it is. And as a man, at the back of your mind, and I understand, I think it's dope that you have a 2-parent household, Tamia, and like the woman should give that piece of it, but there has to be that understanding that piece is only there in a certain context, because the rest of the world will not only capitalize on that piece to take you out, they're waiting for it. I wait for sensitive. Like, whenever I compete with anyone who's sensitive, it's the first thing I go for. I'm like, you're just weak. I'm going to tell you that you're weak. I'm going to get you upset. I'll get you out of my way. I'll hurt your feelings and then take your business from you.
Is it sensitivity or emotional intelligence? Because sensitivity and emotional intelligence is different. Like, if a man knows about how his feelings are and can voice them and tell you how he feels, is very different from sensitivity, where a man is crying and victimizing himself. So what we're teaching in my house is emotional intelligence, and my husband is very clear on. There's moments where I'm like, but I know my role, you know, like I know my role. Like, I'm like, he just likes the colorful, nice goat, and my husband's like, no, you know. So there's definitely that grit, you know, for sure. But definitely, it's like definite difference between sensitivity and just a man knowing about his emotions and knowing how to gauge them, and I think when you have emotional intelligence, then you have an upper hand, because now I'm very strategic, you know, like, I understand what I'm feeling, I know how to regulate, and I know what to show and what to share with someone like, you know, Reckless. You owned up to it. There's people like Reckless out there who's going to take your spot. So a person, you know, a man with emotional intelligence is like, all right, I got to get myself together, because I know that if time is moving, you know? So if I'm aware of myself.
My pushback on that is that adds a level of humanity that in competition, especially in business. So like this all depends on what type of man you want to be. If you want to get to the upper echelons and you're going to compete in those fields, you literally have to train yourself to function like an animal. And the reason I say functioning like an animal is, like, when I get stressed out, I turn off all humanity and I just make decisions to get to a goal. If you stress me out, it's like literally I'm the worst to compete with, because like if you push me into a corner, I will shut down completely and be like, cool, we need to do X, Y, and Z. Y'all can be mad about it. We'll talk about that after this is over. Because we're going into animal mode, and I'm going to do what I do.
Let me answer this. Reckless, let me answer this really quickly. I think that we're conflating. So emotional intelligence is an aspect that you need to understand your emotions, to regulate yourself on a higher level, to see it in other people and then help to manage it as well. When we're talking about competing, though, emotional intelligence almost takes a backseat, not even the passenger seat, the backseat, because when you're being competitive, you don't really have time to analyze the feelings of other people. That competitiveness is a fierceness. So the focus is on identifying the threat and then figuring out ways to strategize to overcome it. But the emotional intelligence part, that's more for a civilized world. That's not for the raw competitive nature that men have. And I want to make sure that we make that clear, because I think women, and not you, I think you and your husband are doing a fantastic job, but most women I hear, they confuse making their boys emotional with emotional intelligence. And those are fundamentally different things. Is that fair to say? What do you guys think about that?
I love it.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay.
But no, I was just gonna say I so I didn't think or know about same-sex sexual harassment until I was involved in some shit like that, and I couldn't find nothing because they were smart. They knew how to hide it. They would wait until a whole group of people had to pass by me to rub ass.
Oh.
And the problem is how the cameras were set up. I didn't have nothing to back me up. But yeah, I knew some lesbian chick grabbing ass and shit. I know it's you. If you see this video, I know it's you.
Somebody have to clip this part just for that part. But guys, listen, we got to transition because I want to respect everybody's time. Any final thoughts on this before we move on?
I had one, sorry. I wanted to get out the way. I think the real reason why we have this problem is because we have this whole believe all women thing going on that we don't talk about. You know what I mean? It's the underpinnings. And here's the thing. It doesn't take much for a man to get tried in a court of public opinion, but a woman has to get drugged to court and be proved that she was wrong. You know what I mean? We have to look at this Amber Heard, Johnny Depp thing. Then we have to turn around and look at this Jonathan Majors thing. You know what I mean? All that type of stuff has to happen before a woman could be even perceived as the guilty party. So until we actually address that elephant in the room, none of this other stuff is going to happen, because we already believe that women are full of sugar and spice and everything nice. And there's nothing else that they can do. You know what I mean? No wrong that they can do. But if you've dealt with women a long enough time, you would understand that there are certain things that women do that are not, not cool. You know what I mean? But it's not cool to say that. You know what I mean? So I think until we actually address that, Sarhel, that's when we start making headway, like for real.
Well, tune into my shows this week, y'all, because we're doing that. If you guys are just tuning in to the show, hit the like button. We're getting ready to transition. It has been a dope conversation so far. We're about to transition. And guys, take a listen to this. So Tamia, remember your comment about the whole flower things. If he's not particularly what a woman wants, then he could essentially emotionally bribe her. So take a look at this. I want to get your response on this. Where's it at?
All right.
Women are dating materials and women are not dating substance. And when a woman starts looking for substance over materials, then she'll find a man that's actually going to be worth it. But when she's leading with her eyes by what he has, what he can provide, and what he's actually doing from a gesture standpoint, she's never going to know who he really is at his core. So then that's why they get bamboozled. Some men can put up that act for a long time.
So what's funny is
replay that one.
What's funny is the young lady is my friend. Like I that's a close friend of mine on that 8 at the Table podcast. And he's always talking. But you can replay it. Replay it so I can give my
Okay.
deep thought.
Okay, here we go.
Women are dating materials and women are not dating substance. And when a woman starts looking for substance over materials, then she'll find a man that's actually going to be worth it. But when she's leading with her eyes by what he has, what he can provide, and what he's actually doing from a gesture standpoint, she's never going to know who he really is at his core. So then that's why they get bamboozled. Some men can put up that act for a long time.
Okay.
So here's
All
the
right.
question on the table. Most men are dating materials, not substance. This true or false? Let's start with Beautifully Animated Speaks. Actually, no. Tamia, and then Beautifully Animated Speaks, and then the brothers will jump in as well.
Okay.
This is true. This is true. This is especially true at this day and age because everything on social media just looks like kind gestures. Looks like the main love language of gift giving and acts of service, things like that. Now, in regards to my flowers comment, I was more so not necessarily to bribe, but I was more looking at that individual's actions in terms of his persistence on like wanting to show her that he genuinely is interested in her. So flowers could have came after numerous conversations. I don't even want to go back because I didn't even, it was an example, but essentially I'm saying, and I believe that if a male that is not that attractive but really shows that he is a great man at heart and can provide and be a leader and make that woman, because at the end of the day, there's a book called Love and Respect, right? Women want love. Like at the end of the day, women want to feel loved, right? Whether that's, and you're shaking your head, no, lost in translation, but if a woman has a man with a lot of money that can provide and pay bills, but she does not feel loved or she does not feel seen, she's not happy. Actual woman want to feel loved. So I feel like if there's a guy that's not that attractive and, you know, he's persistent and he shows himself, he shows up, he makes her feel good, he makes her feel nice, whatever, and then also has the assets to back that up. So like he's a good man, then it can work. I'm not going to say completely like, oh my gosh, he's hard to look at, but not her type. She may end up dating out of her type for that matter. Women want to feel loved. They want to feel loved. They want women for the right motives. So I'm not talking women that are just like, I want all your money and I want to spend all your money and I want to live off your funds, dating for materials. I'm talking ones dating for substance.
You know what?
How many fry cooks have you dated?
But before we go, before we go, right, maybe we'll get into this one. We got to get
winning. I like you.
Yeah, we got to get Beautifully Animated Speaks in here. The fellas got a lot to say about this, Tamia. Beautifully Animated Speaks. What's your thought about that? Most women are dating materials, not for substance.
Most women? Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, that's really sad. It's really sad that that a lot of women do not date for substance because if you lose it all, what do you have? Nothing. If you lost all the materials, you have nothing. Yeah. So y'all know was it Flavor of Love? Yeah. I got a casting call for that. I got an email for that. I did. And before I said yes, I was just like, let me look him up. Because I knew he had been some rap songs that I heard, whatever, but I didn't remember what he looked like. I couldn't do it.
Hold on. Now, Beautifully Animated Speaks. Now, was he confident?
Yeah.
Could he afford flowers?
Yeah.
Was he a provider?
Yeah.
That's a shame on you. I can't believe you would treat that man like that. Beautifully Animated Speaks. I can't believe it. No.
I have to have some kind of attraction for you. Like, I'm sorry. I cannot be bought with the material shit. And it's like, no. So, and I know I can't be alone in this. You know what I'm saying? I can't be the only one
You're not.
Who can't be bought by materials. You know what I'm saying? Like they have to have something, right, of substance with another person. Because I mean, you know, some of these people you can tell by the way they act, by the way they carry themselves, who's materialistic and who's not. You know what I'm saying? They can't hide it from nobody. So yeah, that's my little example.
Fellas, I know you guys got much.
Flavor.
Oh boy.
Yeah, fellas, is
Oh,
on you.
do we? Oh, okay. So
Right, Tad, you in?
Okay, let's go.
Let's go.
Boy. Okay, so here I tell you, this sounds very good. And like, I understand that there are some men who are so repulsive that no matter how much money they have, it's going to be a hard sell. But women regularly, as somebody who's been out in these streets, who's been out in the clubs, that has a pretty decent interaction with women, regularly will get into a lifestyle with a man that they aren't necessarily attracted to, and then they'll cheat on him. They will get at those parties. You get a few drinks in them. No longer is she interested in her man. She's looking at all the other men trying to monkey branch to a different situation because she's like, oh, I settled on this. And the main issue culturally, and this is a cultural issue, is that women in our culture don't know how to actually gauge wealth. Y'all look at the very surface layer of things and think people have money. And then you end up getting busted down, catching babies to find out that this dude rented a Gucci belt and a Ferrari for the weekend and got you pregnant. And now you're stuck with a bum because you don't know how to ascertain what wealth is. Like, I've never interacted with a black woman, period, who's been like interested in the inner workings of what it is that I do and actually pressed that conversation. Ever. Period. That's not the time y'all on, apparently. So that is the major issue. You can, because like, look, everybody wants the best deal that they can get. If you had the choice of the exact same guy, the exact same characteristics, the exact same personality, and they both match the list, you are not going to pick the one that works at McDonald's. You're going to pick the one that's an investment banker that has $1 billion because it's better. That's how we gauge each other at this point. Women are gauged on your beauty. Men are gauged on their ability to provide at this point, because protection necessarily isn't necessary because y'all will call the cops and get a toxically masculine man to come solve whatever problem you have. But to get in the door, no guy, and I'll put this on the men too, no guy ever looks over at a woman and goes, geez, that's a great personality that she looks like she's got there. I'd like to put my dick in that. No one says that. That's not real. Men go, hey, bro, free game, newsflash. No one looked at you and said your personality was awesome. You were either the slowest runner or the only one who accepted the advance. Like, just being honest. And chicks do not look at a man and go, that's a wholesome dude. Even like, if that was the case, then you guys would be scoping out McDonald's behind the register every time you went in there, because some of those men will treat you like gold. Because they ain't never seen nothing like you before. They'll treat you like a princess.
That's a fact.
To the best of their abilities. You'll get free Big Macs and fries all the time. But you don't even see those men. They don't exist to you for a reason. And it's not because they have terrible personalities. Let's be honest, folks.
Dang. What's the translation?
Sir, you know I'm about to tell you the truth, right? You know I'm about to tell you the truth. And for all the Sir Hells
in front of the millions and millions
of the Sir Hells fans, I'm about to tell y'all the truth. You know what women respect? Women respect.
Well, we're moving on now.
They respect the money. I'm gonna tell you like this: women will go find the man that they're attracted to, and they will drag him to the church. They won't go into the church to get the man that's already got a relationship with God. They will take that man and drag him all the way to church. And then he was like, I don't know about all this. And then she'll come tell her mom or her dad, I just don't know. He doesn't have a relationship with God. We're not equally yoked. That's what y'all do. I'm just being honest. Women start with the money first. They start with the look second. And then after that, it's on to the races. They don't care about your moral compass. They don't care that you're good to your mom. They don't care about all of that. They want to know, can you provide them with a lifestyle, and can you help pay for these kids? And that's basically about it. That's all you are as a man, and that's it. I'm just being honest. So if the people in the chat think I'm lying, the men who've talked to the women, the men who've been in these spaces, they will tell you the exact same thing. Y'all go get the man that you want, drag him to the church house, and try to make him fall in love with God, and then be like, I don't know why it's not working. Because you didn't start out with the intangibles first.
Yeah.
Salute to Black Man Unfiltered with the $5 super chat. I appreciate you, bro. He says, Sir Hell is still a stripper. Stage name is Oil Machine. If you need him for a wake, bar mitzvahs, and baptisms. I appreciate you, Black Man. I shout out to my brother. Everybody, show some love to Black Man Unfiltered. Subscribe to his channel. Lost in Translation just cooked. Ladies, why do y'all do that? So let's get down to the meat of this. Women don't just want love. They want what they want, who they want it from. Right? And I say this because it's very simplistic to say women just want love or just want affection. No, women want who they want and who they want it from. And the only way they're going to feel loved is if they're getting that from the person who they want it from. Is that fair to say?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. Everybody has preferences, man. I mean, it's what it is. It's just the preferences are all screwed up. It's like men are out here dating appendages, wondering why their kids are growing up thinking that they're a toaster oven and wearing dresses and shit. And the women are out here. Oh yeah, they toaster ovens. You can be a transformer, an Autobot, whatever the hell you want to be these days, bro. I'm about to identify as a bottle of Advil. Put me in your mouth. But and then the women are out here getting duped by rented stuff, and then they wonder why they bankrupt and they get knocked up, and they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna get to the bag now," and you getting $50 a month that the government's taking 60% of because this dude's broke, and now he work at FedEx and he's on house arrest because that's what happens if you don't pay your child support for long enough, gentlemen. They put you in work camps called FedEx. I know. I worked at FedEx once, not because I had kids. It was just a job, but I worked with some men who were at the halfway house for child support reasons. They will make you go work that debt down. But I mean, everybody's. Yep, 100%. Yeah. Everybody's choosing wrong. Like that's the issue. People want what they want, but like also social media is influencing these things. They're not looking at actual successful people and who they're married to. Like they're not. Hey, bro. Millionaires and billionaires that actually are not athletes or rappers, guys, this is going to be crazy. The people who actually own and built things are not marrying club thoughts, bro. Like, it's not a real thing in real life with real people. You got to stop believing what Hollyweird says and go look. Like, dude, one of my wealthiest clients, his wife is downright unattractive to me. And he's a billionaire. And he could have any woman he wants per his bank account. And his personality. It's a nice dude. But he rocks with who rocks with him. They're picking these women for a reason.
But isn't that
you can't complain about your preference.
Isn't that on
because you didn't do the work. You can't complain about your preference. I'm sorry.
Isn't
I don't want to hear about
that. People who take the Real Housewives and all the other media too seriously. Because if you watch those shows, all of them, when they go out, what they wearing? A mini dress.
Well, but most of them aren't really housewives, right?
No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that if they're not real housewives or not. The fact is, these women, these females are looking at them as role models and thinking what they doing is what I should be doing. I mean, like I said, it's working law enforcement, work the graveyard. So I was there when they were going to the clubs and stuff like that. It's winter. And they're in mini dresses. They huddled, running. They're huddled up in their mini dresses, no jackets, because it's gonna take away from their look. They got to have the tits out. Small, quick steps. Keep the body heat going. You know what I'm saying? Looking ridiculous going to the club. I mean,
so I'm trying to verse my question right, because I feel like when I give my perspective, it's kind of being viewed as like fairy tale land kind of situation. Because I guess I'm lucky because my experience hasn't been some of the things that I'm hearing. And I put in the chat with all due respect, but like I'm hearing about these women that don't want to look at substance and, you know, that women don't want this and don't want that. Which pool or which sector of women are y'all looking at to then say that women just don't want this?
Proximity. It doesn't matter where you are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're saying this is the thing though.
It doesn't matter where you are. I'm gonna tell you the reason why it's proximity, because we have guys, it's this thing called passport brothers. The passport bros are leaving in droves, going to find women who agree with their way they want to, you know, live their lives. And that speaks more to the fact that they cannot find what they're looking for here. You understand what I'm saying? So when you do find somebody here, like you've done well. You're lucky.
Yeah.
You're
I'm
lucky.
like, it sounds dangerous.
And it is.
Sounds dangerous.
It is.
You
really have to know what you're doing.
It's the culture. It's the culture shift. It's a very individualistic culture. Apparently women are all boss babes now. Like you ain't gonna have two alphas in one house. Like it doesn't work like that. Like there's roles for a reason. It's that generally speaking, most American women are not family oriented. They're not about that, regardless of what. If you're Americanized at this point, you are an individualist. You are loyal to nothing. You're not loyal to your family. You're not loyal to your community. You're not loyal to your country. Everybody wants to do what they want to do. And they want everyone to terraform and co-sign it. That's the society that we live in. So yeah, as a man who wants a family after a certain point, and this is for any culture of man, but I always say this in regards to black men who date out. How long do you expect us to walk with our heads down, getting our brow beaten until we're chosen by you when we're the ones who are supposed to be getting on our square and doing the choosing?
Let me ask you a question. To me, how long have you been married?
Almost 5 years.
5 years. So you've been on the game for 5 years, right? So you are pre-COVID relationship. You understand what I'm saying?
Right before COVID.
Okay, right before COVID. Okay, so things have changed.
A lot.
A lot.
For sure.
Yeah. It was this little thing called COVID that really made people look at their relationships and how they were dating because they no longer had access to the outside world. And what people did was they started to find out that the person that they married or the person they're with wasn't necessarily in it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
And the courthouses were packed. People were getting divorces left and right. You know what I mean? Some people rekindled old flames after that. It's just a madhouse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're lucky, but it has been this way for quite some time. So that's the reason why we're here to defang the situation, to at least try to get a handle of it. And some of the things you probably may not be aware of, like some women will say, I want somebody who makes just as much as me or more. And we've had conversations where that does not work. You know what I'm saying?
I definitely have heard that. And I have a lot of friends, like while I am married, my friends are not married yet. You know, like I definitely hear from my friends some of the stories and things like that. But I could also say, like, in my friends, I'm also not seeing that they're desiring some of the things that you all are, like, you know, like they don't show the characteristics of some of the things that you all are listing, and they very much have Tindered and things like that, but they are looking for substance.
You have to ask the right questions to reveal who they are.
No, let me tell you what it is. Most women want to spare their friends' feelings. And so you're not going to ask certain questions because you're going to get a truth you don't want to hear. Like I said, you did the right thing. You got made about 21, 20 something, right around there. And most women ain't thinking about, in today's world, ain't thinking about that at all. But because your mindset was there, this is so far off for how women are being cultured today. Now today it's go have a whole phase. You go out there, get the bag, make a degree, start a business, become the boss chick, and then Your girl power is going to make you get the man you want, and he's going to come into your life so you can keep spending your money. You can keep on being independent while he holds the fork down and takes care of the serious stuff. That's what women are being taught.
That is
And
very true. That is honestly, that is it.
yeah,
Like, I can attest to that and admit, like,
See,
that is really a thing. Like, being, I do believe that you can have a household. Like, for example, I'm a coach. I want my own practice. But I very much want my man to leave the house. I understand that I am not an alpha. I don't want to share that. Please take the responsibility the way I don't want them. But I definitely can attest to there are women struggling with their role because they are doing that whole, like, I have my own money, I have this, so really I just need you to come in and fill in the spaces that I want you to fill in, and then we can work from there, and not letting the man create the environment or just like leaving room for him. So I can attest to that because I have a lot of friends that are entrepreneurs, and they're beautiful, they're absolutely amazing, and they want to be married, but going into that phase they literally have to deprogram the concept of, like, okay, I have to make room, like, I don't have to control all of this, and I don't just want to profit off of, selfishness, honestly, keep the money that I'm making to myself and then let him do everything. But I totally can attest to that. That is definitely what you see on Instagram and TikTok these days. Go to this bar, sit at this bar, find this kind of man, and don't pay your own bills and see if he'll marry you. That's not a lie.
it's funny, and we'll move on right after this. Shout out to Black Man with the $10 super chat. It's funny. Women want to be bosses, but they don't want to pay the bill. And if men know what bosses are the ones who pay the bills. It's a very interesting concept. Shout out to Black Man of Filter with the $10 super chat. He says, guys, it's simple. We have put women who look like a Baton Rouge Labradors with leukemia on the pedestal. That's why we have female linebackers thinking they are a 10. Shout out to Black Man of Filter with the $10 super chat. We got to.
So,
after beautiful anime, we're gonna move on.
I think there can be two alphas in the household, right? But the thing is,
hold on. You said you think there can be two alphas in the household?
Yeah. So
now, beautifully animated space. Beautifully animated space.
Yeah.
You truly okay. Let me hear your scenario. Let me hear your scenario.
So the thing is, like, the things I had to do, I know that I'm a alpha female, but the thing is about me, I know I'm not a man. So I come in second to a man who's an alpha. I can respect an alpha man as the alpha because he's a man.
That is very anecdotal, and that's the first time I've ever heard that. I'm with it, but I do not believe that anybody else navigates like that. That's a woman.
No, that's the problem. That's the problem.
I agree with that.
All these alpha females are fighting their men. It's like, why are you fighting your man? You're supposed to be on a team together, and he's supposed to be leading. So I don't.
Well, I mean, the reality of it is men do not want to date men. I was like, if men wanted alpha females, then guess what? The transformer bots are back on the menu then. Because I think basically it's the same thing.
You've never heard a man of substance say, I am looking for an alpha woman. You've never heard us.
Right.
Never heard it.
I never heard it either.
And the reason why, let me explain what alpha is. I did a show on Humble Dads last week, and I've got a clip coming out tomorrow. Alpha, if you go back and look at this from an animalistic perspective, alpha literally means the strongest one who can kill and dominate. That's what alpha means.
But there are alpha females in nature.
Yeah, but I'm talking about with human women. Men aren't looking for women like that. Men are looking for something soft to come home to. And when you when you attach the alpha to it, it doesn't matter your intention, because your intentions are pure. Like the way you described it shows that you can respect a man's authority. But once you put the alpha on there, it takes on an energy that, like, it takes female, and then you put the alpha on there, and then it turns female into something completely different. And that's how most men will hear that.
It can ruin a marriage. It can ruin a marriage. It can do a lot of damage if you don't know how to, like, in a beautiful world. because I can say I have alpha female tendencies, but I had to learn how to dim those down real quick. Because I saw where it was like, Tamia, you're not giving room, but you're mad about XYZ. Or you want to see him do XYZ, but you don't know how to sit your ass down. So it's like, even if you go in as an alpha female, if you truly want it, like you want an alpha male, you want to come second, some of those things, like you can, internally we know, like as an alpha, if you need me to pick something, the moment he's like, hey, can you help me with this? It'll take nothing, because we have those tendencies. It doesn't change who you are.
No.
Now he shouldn't ask, but you know it's in you. You know it's there.
No. You guys are you're thinking like ladies, and that's a good thing.
Right.
There is no possible way to be an alpha and then that alpha not create conflict. Like there's going to be something in you. If you got that nature in you, you're going to go head to head with your man at some point, particularly if you feel like he's not performing at his alpha level. There's something in you that's going to kick in. And if you got two alphas in the house, either you're going to emasculate him or he's going to get away from you. That's the conclusion.
Right. I turned it off.
This at all. Yeah. If you
I've never had an issue with none of the men I dated. As far as like trying to tell them what to do and all this stuff like that. And like, nah. I always came second. I always let them lead.
Have honest conversations. I can give things that can be taken into consideration, but I don't like, this is just me speaking for myself. I'm not saying what you were doing, but I learned that you don't tell because remember, I married at 21 years old. So we learned together what marriage, neither of us came from a married household. So we were figuring this out. So I went through my year of, we need to do this. And you can't tell a man what to do, because then eventually he's just going to be like, all right, bet, like, let me be myself.
So let me help
me thrive.
So let me help them out. Okay. Hot sauce is fantastic on chicken. It's delicious. Chocolate on ice cream is fantastic. But hot sauce on ice cream, they don't go together. When y'all say alpha female and alpha male, that's not going to work. It's really not. Because a man is going to dominate everything in his home. Everything in his home will obey. Now, I think the real reason why women like to use that alpha thing is to feel important. You can still feel important in your household without the alpha title. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And when you start throwing around terms like alpha title, that's when a man's ears goes up.
Yep.
He's gonna be like, oh no, we're not gonna have that here.
Let me say this, because what Lost in Translation is saying is spot on. Alpha for a man means he's been tested. Alpha for a woman means she's been through trauma. It's a reason why she feels the need to dominate that way. And to the outside world, it looks like strength because you get up and do what you got to do. But that's often a sign of trauma, that you feel the need to go have to dominate because you didn't have somebody there to be there for you when you needed it. Right?
100%.
Yeah. Anybody want to comment on this?
No, I
am what I am. So I told you how I think. I told you how I roll. So
I can comment on every moment where I felt like I've stepped into this, and I wouldn't even call it stepping into, but attempting to play a role that wasn't mine. Being an alpha female was because something that worried me or something traumatic had taken place. And once I was able to reflect on that, you are 100% right. A lot of women show up that way because we feel the need that like nothing's gonna fall apart. Like, I'm not gonna let anything fall apart. I'm gonna make sure things are together. I'm gonna make sure things are set. And what usually triggers that in a woman is a negative circumstance or trauma or something of that sort. Not all the time, but majority of the time. And I can say for myself, when I'm chill and I'm stress-free, I don't have those tendencies. I will be quiet. I'm fine. Oh, what do you want to eat? Great. But if you're stressed, this is not me anymore. But when I was stressed out, definitely my voice was, you're hearing my voice more, you're hearing my mouth more. So I can definitely agree with you, Sir Hale, on that. It definitely is a trauma response, even down back from, like, I'm a psychologist, down back from childhood. If you did not feel supported as a child or a little girl, or you found yourself as a little girl, no, I don't like this. I don't feel heard, or whatever the case. Once you mature, and you have that power to speak, it's a lot of yap. So I definitely can. I'll take it on that one for sure.
Yeah, I was having a conversation with my cousin. And I was telling her how I'm an alpha female and I'm looking for an alpha male, whatever. And she's like, "Well, do you think you can turn it off, right? Turn off being an alpha female?" I was like, "No," because I've been like this for years, right? I was like, "No," and I told her that I can accept and respect my man as my alpha. And she was just like, oh, okay. Because she's used to these women who are alpha females to themselves, whatever, and they're full of conflict. You know what I'm saying? They're always at their men. And I was like, no. And these are women, a lot of these women are from her sorority. And she's just like, they don't respect men. They always got to have the last word, which I do not have to have the last word.
So beautifully, it speaks. The reason I'm so critical on this point is particularly with you, is because I think that you are a very sweet woman. That's how I see you. That's part of the reason why I invite you to the show. Like everybody knows, you got to be sweet, got to be quiet. It's a certain demeanor you have to have. You're sweet. It's not the alpha title; it's the alpha energy. And so think about this. Like you look at a wolf. A wolf is not waiting for an attack; it's scanning for attack. In other words, is looking for conflict. Like alpha and conflict, like those are married. So if a woman takes on the alpha energy, she lives in perpetual conflict. And that's what I'm saying. It's bound to mess up between her and a man because those two energies cannot coexist and there'll be peace in the home. So for a woman, and I'm gonna talk to you because I love you and I care about you. So
no, I understand that what you're saying now.
Yeah, one would have to not only turn that switch off, but there's got to be a little bit of rewiring. And the reason why it has to be because you might find that you're more effective without being more conflict oriented and simply just being feminine. Women don't understand. Femininity will get you much quicker than being an alpha will. Alpha is about dominating. Femininity is about influence. And the way that the world works is influence has a power that is unparalleled to anything else. So like I said, just from the woman you are, and then any woman who's watching this, for if you felt like you had to be an alpha, that is a trauma response. And if you do it long enough, it becomes part of your makeup and you no longer see anything wrong with it until you start to look at a pattern. I can't keep intimate relationships. And it's not because they don't love you. It's because they can't exist with you and still sustain a masculinity. All right.
You know why they do that, Sarhel?
Yeah.
It's because women are never applauded for their femininity. You know what I mean? They're always applauded for being the boss chick. You know what I mean? Nobody says, "Oh, girl, I like the way you did that femininity thing." You understand? They don't even have a sentence for that. You know what I mean?
Hey, look at beautiful way to speak. Look at that smile now, y'all.
Yeah.
Look at that smile. Look at that femininity coming out, y'all. Look at that. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Yep. Good
but
stuff.
Nobody ever does that. You know?
You're right about it.
TD said the same thing, man. He said, you're never applauded for your femininity. And I think we got to get back to that. I think if we started applauding women being more feminine, I think they would probably do that more. But what happens is when they hear this boss babe stuff coming from their girlfriends, it kind of drowns out the voice of the men. So in order for us to fix that, we have to put more emphasis on what the men say and give the honor back to the men where it belongs. Then we can pretty much rewire this thing and say it doesn't matter what your single friends say. It's about what your husband say. You know what I mean? And how he takes care of you and how he applauds you for your femininity. You know, forget what they saying because what they saying ain't never worked. It hadn't worked in the last 40, 50 years. Forget what they saying. Let's talk about what these men was talking about before this got messed up.
Shout out to all the ladies in your femininity in the chat. We're sending you much love and respect. If you guys are just tuning in, hit the like button, subscribe button. This is a dope show. Now, listen, we were talking about this. Now, let's get into why it's so much conflict. You guys, buckle your seatbelts. It's about to be a crazy ride, and I mean that. It's about to be a crazy ride. Listen to what you guys know who she is. Listen to what she says.
But yeah, a matter of factly, because once you learn the nature of a man and once you learn his motivations, it's idiotic for him not to be paying 100%. And every man deeply knows that, man, this bitch stupid for going 50-50. She's stupid. They know that because the male knows that he ain't bringing a goddamn thing to the table. He know that the woman is the value. Everything.
Huh?
Did you guys hear that?
Oh my God.
Confused.
I'll play it one more time.
I'm confused.
I'll play it one more time. Listen, guys, if you're just watching this, buckle your seatbelts. This is getting ready to get crazy. Take a listen to this. If you want to come back and respond, it's a 5-minute clip, but I'm just playing this part. I couldn't believe it when I listened to it.
But yeah, a matter of factly, because once you learn the nature of a man and once you learn his motivations, it's idiotic for him not to be paying 100%. And every man deeply knows that, man, this bitch stupid for going 50-50. She's stupid. They know that because the male knows that he ain't bringing a goddamn thing to the table. He know that the woman is the value. Everything.
All right, so the question is let's start with Beautiful Admitted Speaks. Most men know that they aren't bringing anything. The woman is the value. What's your thought on that?
I don't.
She sounds stupid.
My brain hurts. My brain hurts. But from what I got,
stupid. Go ahead, sis. Get her. Get her.
So from what I took from that, which I do feel is a man should cover, like once you're married together, yeah, he should cover 100%. But I don't feel like the woman is bringing the entire value to the table. I just, what she said doesn't make sense. And just like from what our the Humble Dads podcast that we were on, when there was a great analogy between like men being champions and women being the prize, like the trophy, right? In any situation, the men play the game. They're on the team. They play the game. They're the sport. They're all playing as a team to get this trophy, like the Super Bowl, get this trophy at the end, which is the prize for the work that you've put in. So that's why I agree where, yes, cover 100%. Take care of your woman. Be an alpha male. Yes, but I don't know what she means. And women are a prize. Women are a prize because while men are the head, women are the neck. So I feel that women sustain. If you marry the right woman and you have the right woman on your side, she is a prize. She makes sure you're sustained. You come home, you shouldn't have anything to worry about. You're fed. Things are laid out so that you can go out and be the man that you need to be. So in that case, I feel like, yes, women are definitely a value in a marriage, but I definitely don't, she didn't make sense. But that's my stance on women in relationships. They bring a value in terms of making sure that they play an asset. It's like being a rib. You help keep your man together. But all that other stuff she was talking about, I have no clue. she lost me.
So as far as being the prize, if neither one of you are the prize to the other person, then I don't know what's up with y'all. And what the? I'm just so confused.
What did she say?
I mean, that. I don't. Okay. So she's saying that women are the prize and men should always be paying and everything like that. But that's not even not even an adequate relationship. Like what penis has she been messing with? Because she ain't dealing with no men. She's dealing with straight penis and not doing nothing else. Just like I don't know who the hell she messing with. Who is she messing with, Hoppo? Oh my goodness.
I played that clip because whether we agree or not, she has a platform. She really does have a platform, and people are following her message. I listened to her. Shout out to Sister George. She had her on a podcast, and it was difficult to listen to because if you listen to the concepts, you hear this string of trauma. It's a man did that. If you go back and listen to like her stuff, it's a man's fault. Men don't love women. Men don't care about women. Men, and so you heard that, which is why she said men have no value. Like that's what you were hearing.
But so what if she has a following? So what? There are dogs on YouTube and IG who have a following. Puppies have. There's babies with their own shows and have followings and stuff like that. Like, who cares?
I mean, you're giving people too much credit. People are stupid. That's the reason this is a problem, is because people are dumb. They're dumb. They're like cognitively dumb, and they're running around, driving cars, going to work, making decisions. Not only that, they also vote. Okay, but like this is a problem in the sense that we don't live in a space. What man that is accessible to most of you women is capable of paying 100% of everything? I'll wait. Which guys are those? Because I'll tell you this right now, 18% of the U.S. population is a millionaire. Millionaire ain't even rich no more. So who's able to sustain a household with one income? And what civilization did women just not work? All of them. I'll wait for that also.
There's many households right now with stay-at-home moms.
I'm dumbfounded.
There are for right now. We're not done with what's going on macroeconomically with the U.S. dollar, though.
Well,
those are going to get washed out
right now. You asked right now, and there are multiple
100%
where women are definitely playing the role of be home and take care of the home and take care of the children. That still exists.
At what income level?
I mean, at an income level where they're living at what their income can sustain, where their man wants their wife home. Like, if they're fine, I mean, if you live at your means, nobody said they had a mansion. No one said they were driving the best car. But if they can pay their rent and eat the food and their bills are covered, then that man is covering 100% of that household.
And the woman's just sitting around, just hanging out?
She could be very happy. You don't know what sustains that woman. She could be very happy taking care of her kids in her home.
I didn't ask if she was happy, and I understand that's important for women. I didn't ask that. I asked, what is the woman doing? Because I mean, this is coming from somebody who's not religious, but like, aren't the women, those of y'all who believe in the church, aren't y'all supposed to be helping?
And our help is in reference to, even if you go back into the Bible, is not to go out and work. It never said that. It was to help in terms of making sure your husband is okay, making sure your children are okay, praying over your husband, praying over your children, over your household, and maintaining your house. And if you need the help, you're not saying women are not supposed to lift a finger, but essentially it doesn't say we have to go out and get money.
No, listen. So right and wrong. So there is no explicit scripture that says go out and get money. That is correct. But every wife should be a working wife.
Right.
Every wife. So hold on a second, guys. I'm getting ready to cook. Hold on.
Depending on what you classify as work. Because I feel like
he got to rehydrate himself.
Now,
come on, cook some hell.
Every wife should be a working wife. You shouldn't even get married if your mindset is not to go in there with work. You can't help it not work. Any wife who gets married, accepts a ring, becomes married, goes through the whole process to get married, and is not a very noticeable difference maker in the life of her husband is a woman who just got hired. She didn't get married. She's hired. Right. And you can tell because that man is stressed out. He's paying the bills. He is not improved in terms of his productivity by having her in his life. So she's not a helpmate. The part that we're having issues with in today's culture is that women no longer come to marriage to be helpmates. Women come to marriage to meet a man who can help them. And I think this is the imbalance that we see now, why a lot of men don't want marriage and why so many women are looking. It's like most women have so many requirements and they can't even meet the requirements as a woman that they have for the man because they're not equipped to come in helping. They're equipped to give something in exchange for what they really want. They're not really in it for the man. And I think this is a problem. Women should be working. I don't care if you're a housewife. that the kitchen, the living room, bedroom needs to be
Exactly.
cleaned. But let me give a couple
The
big things.
home.
Now we about to cook, y'all. Y'all get ready for this. If you're a housewife, because I made my wife one for the most part of our marriage, for almost the better part of our marriage. And it's not just cooking, cleaning, raising the kids, because them kids ain't always be little kids. They're gonna be in school at some point.
Yeah.
As a housewife, you need to be an expert at balancing the books. So whatever money he's bringing in, it shouldn't be you figuring out ways to spend it. You need to become an expert saver. You need to be looking at different bills. You need to be looking at different price points. If you're paying insurance, for a particular period of time, you need to be calling other insurance companies to see if you can get better rates and better quotes. If you got cable bills or internet bills, you need to be looking at different places, scoping that has better service but less money. I mean, it's different things you can do. Grow your own vegetables in your backyard. Find different ways to craft. Coupon if you have to. It's a lot of housewives who just at the house but ain't the wife. And so every wife should be working. And I want to make this clear. If you're not willing to work, it is not right to call yourself a wife. All right, I'm done. Anybody else?
Exactly what I meant.
Yeah,
That is exactly what I meant.
What I wanted to cover, I agree with everything that you said. It's just with the state of things now, like this is one of the reasons that we're at the bottom. And we keep complaining about it, but like this is just the reality of it. Like I've got clients that are Indian, they're both doctors. Guess what? That wife works. They both rich. They're building. Now, she gets to work remote most of the time because of the way that she set up her stuff so that she can be there with the kids, but she's fully practicing. Like the people who I see, my point of reference for people who have a wife that's at home, I don't see any of these wives doing nothing. Period. Like they're either handling everything on the inside of the house, but the most important thing is like these men are wealthy. Like they won at the game, or they're building something out together where it's like, cool, like if we can get this bag and you can be at home and you can make 6 figures at home and I can go practice at the office so that we can go buy a hospital so that we can expand this wealth. It's like the ideology of how we look at finance when it comes to couples, like it's indicative of where we are at societally. Like we aren't passing down wealth. Like we aren't even talking in the sense of people owning stuff. Like I try not to assume that people rent, period, because you shouldn't, unless you're planning on doing that forever. Especially if you got one income, you know how much of a jump you have to have under the current inflation rates to actually be able to save up to buy a house. It's insane. With a rent that's also going up with your raises now in the current climate. Like we got to start looking at this a little bit different. I'm not saying everybody has to hustle, but you know what it takes to retire one person sustainably? $600,000. You can make 60 grand a year off $600,000 if you work it right. 2 people working, you should never, young men, never buy a place that you can't sustain yourself in case things go wrong. But while you're together, if you're married, you get a place that one of you can pay for, that you both can pay for. You both work. Now you have an entire income that can be used to build that 600. You retire her first, but you establish something so that way she can find another way to help, and that income, you still got a good, healthy chunk of income coming in. We got to start thinking strategically, man. Like y'all are checking boxes.
Now,
and like
sorry.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you're good. I completely 100,000% agree with that, because that is the take that my husband and I are working on. We are figuring out a way so that he can make what sustains so that I can be at home full time. So I'm totally not with do what you feel is right and you're not sustaining your family. I can't remember his name, but he made a comment and he said to me, I disagree, and he put a scripture. Now, when I said a wife at home, what her job is, I was completely referring to what Sir Hale is saying, right? I've been a stay-at-home mom. I've done a budget book. I call the insurance company.
There we go.
I speak to the doctor, right? So it was never like, I think when I said it, you're probably thinking like sit at home, even that, like being a stay-at-home mom is not easy. I have 2 toddlers, they're 2 years apart. It's not easy. It's very draining at times. But I definitely wasn't referring to sitting up on my feet and only reaping benefits and not planting any seed. That is not what I was referring to. But I will say that essentially, if we're speaking financially, ideally, the woman's first like priority is not necessarily like, I'm going to go work just like my husband as many hours. Once you have kids and you have a family, that woman's first priority should be, how quick can I get home? Now, whatever it takes for us to get home.
So to me, let me jump in there.
Yeah.
That right there is the problem. Most women, you know how it used to be, but you're 26, and I'm not trying to, you're 26.
No, you're good.
It used to be where when a woman had a kid, she would literally adjust her entire life to be a mother. Like she would. Now today is like there is no adjustment. It's kids have to adjust to whatever they mama doing. Yeah, and I think you raise a point, and that's the issue. There's no adjustment being made, and that's why you probably see the comment from Black Men Unfiltered is because we know how it should be, but that's not how it really is.
That's not how it is. Yeah, totally agree. But that was my perspective on what a wife should be in the house. You don't just sit there and he's bringing all the money and then he's also sorting the money. No, remember I said to make a man's life easy. If you could do those books for all that money he's bringing in, or when tax season comes, you have your tax person and everything is set and prepared and you know what you're doing and all the W-2s are settled. I'm that individual. I call the bill companies, whatever. You should be a helping hand so that he can thrive, to bring everything that comes in. So I definitely agree. Things should blossom from a woman. Like Sir Hill said, like if you're with that woman and nothing is changing, then there's a problem.
Right.
But things should always blossom. But I definitely am that mom where I hated it when it was a circumstance where it was like we had a new baby and it was like, oh, I feel like I have to go to work. I want to be home with my baby. That's my job. Like it's unfortunate that there are many circumstances where, because in our country specifically, they don't even honor women being pregnant and just having a child. It's 4 weeks that your job gives you. It's like, 4 weeks you have with your newborn and you got to go back to work. Absolutely ridiculous. Canada, all these places, it's like 6 months, a year. So already our country is not even supporting a woman being at home to be a woman, to be a mother, so that plays a factor too. Like it's not even a support system. 6 weeks for a mom, like a baby, you spend a week in the hospital. So it's fine.
Right. But there's also a complaint that you guys don't promote as high as men who do not take that time, that continue working. Dude, you can't have it both ways. You choose to be in the workforce that is competitive. The reason that there isn't, like, this is one of those things where it cuts both ways. Those businesses still have to run. There's still Rays out there that they're competing with that are going, how many women did they hire for diversity and inclusion? Oh, dude, send Pookie and Ray Ray over there to get all them chicks knocked up. Let's go. Like,
wow.
Let me say something real quick.
I mean, it's the reality of what it is, though. If you have to take time to stop working. Yeah. Oh, sorry. My bad.
No. I'm sorry. Ray. Yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. I just want to address the trade. Everybody, you guys show some love to the panel members, right? I want everybody to know that we are sharing our perspective, and we're talking to people who are really interested in relationships. So if you have a question, it's okay to ask your question, but don't make sweeping generalizations, particularly if we don't know the person, right? So Tamia is actually listen.
I'm actually married.
And actually,
y'all let her breathe. Oh, she won.
Beautifully Animated Speaks is talking like a woman who understands me. So listen, I want us to respect, and I know it's easy because we're hearing responses and we're creating narratives, but here's how you guys can help the conversation. Like Black Men Unfiltered is doing. Shout out to Black Men Unfiltered. He is our stream sponsor tonight. He's asking questions that help keep the conversation going. So guys, if you ask a question, put a Q in there and make it intelligible so we could answer it. But I don't want my guests to feel like we are throwing, words at her. You know what I mean? Because she's not saying things the way we see it. Okay. I know.
They're just doing it because you knew, baby.
Yeah.
They just doing it because you knew, baby. Wait till they get a chance to know you.
Yeah.
They gonna.
I don't want you to be traumatized enough to become an alpha. I'm trying to protect you from that.
I'm literally good. I enjoy this.
Yeah. Before we move on, y'all. Before we go, before you get the beautiful, let me get the rest of these super chats real quick, and then it's on you. Shout out to Black Men Unfiltered. Yo, everybody type Black Men Unfiltered. He is the stream sponsor tonight. This man is coming in here doing the thing. He said, I got that one already. He says, I think I got this one too.
It's the next one.
Yep, is this one. He says,
That's the next one after that one too. he put the money in there, man.
Yeah, it's he says, oh, if my wife says, now I want you guys to listen to his response. It's what I said earlier. Alphas look for conflict. You want to be the alpha, you're gonna have to go through me. Now watch what he says. If my wife said he's an alpha, I would invite her to the backyard to go full throttle, throw it down. Winner is the leader and alpha. I was watching this show on Peacock. It's Yellowstone. I love stuff like that. And the person who is the leader, if you want to be the leader, you got to get in the ring. You got to fight the person. Whoever wins is the leader. This is how men think. And even if men don't, like verbalize this, we know that this is really how it works. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So John the Baptist comes in. He says women should pay 100% if a man's vision requires her to pay 100%. She was made for him. John the Baptist comes back again. He says, my opinion says 98% of families could live on one income. Now, I agree with this. And the reason why is I think most Americans live way above our means. I think we're so busy impressing people that we're buying more than we can really. To be honest, like
keeping up with the Joneses.
Yep. I see people with big homes and I'm like, y'all don't need all that space. Like, it's good for people to brag on you, but by the time you can't vacation, you got to determine if you're going to get food or pay a bill. Like, come on, what are we doing here? Who are you trying to impress? You're impressing people who ain't helping you pay your bills. It's stupid. So I agree with this comment. I thank you, John the Baptist. And then Black Men Unfiltered says to Mia, I disagree. She considers a field and buys it out of her earnings. Out of her earnings. She plants a vineyard. So not only does she earn, but she takes what she earns to go earn some more.
And works.
She sets about her work vigorously. Her arms are strong with her tasks. Tamia, let's get you to respond to this Black man cooking.
Yes. So it depends on what those tasks are that you're referring to and what crops she's growing. Those tasks that she's carrying could be her whole family on her back. Like those tasks that she's carrying could be fulfilling. Like there are points where you have to step in. So like, for example, I don't think there's anything wrong if it's what the household calls for and her willingness to do so, period. So if that means right now she has to go to work and double up whatever, that's great. A woman also has a great mindset. Like, she can sit with her husband and figure out how they can multiply whatever they have. She should just be contributing. As long as you are contributing and you are doing your part as a woman, those kids, your husband doesn't have to think for respect about his kids and if they're fed or if he's fed or if things are done or in order. Because honestly, a man don't really want to think about all that all the time. He wants to be able to have a woman that he can trust. And I think that's where her arms are strong. That's where the crop is fruitful because she knows her role and she plays it well. And if she needs to step up, she will, but only if asked by her husband or only if required by her environment. Otherwise, it will look like her roles within a household. Like as long as her household's thriving, I don't think a wife would ever let her household fall and sit back like, oh, I'm not supposed to go to work. But I don't, that's not right. But if it does mean I need to go get in that field with you, then I'll get in that field with you. But it would be by the instruction of my husband, what he needs that to look like. Because I went ahead and got in the field without saying, do you want me to go do that, babe? And then months down the line in a conversation, I'm hearing, you went and you ran back to work. Maybe that's not the work he wanted from me. Maybe that's not where he wanted my strong arms to be. He wanted me to pick up something to give him more time to go and work. So it's like about your household. It doesn't always look like go run for a job. It may look like I need you in this house more so that I can go do what I have to do and then come home. And I felt so bad because I'm thinking, oh, we need help. He needs help. Like, let me go get this nice job. And he's like, nah, this baby is 5 months old. Like, I don't care what our situation looks like. Trust me, you are to be home with these kids. I got this. Just make sure that the home is fine. It is not my job as a man to split this time. That's just our personal view, So the work, you have to talk to your spouse about that. Like, what does that work look like? So Proverbs, I definitely aspire to be a Proverbs 31 woman. She is immaculate, like she's absolutely immaculate. She does everything right. But it's like, you got to be mindful of like what it looks like for your situation. There is no flat ground on what those working arms and hands and multiplying looks like for that family.
To me, so So two things. First of all, I'm praying for you, and the reason why I say this is because I want you have a moldable heart. You know what I mean? You're still sweet, and you're still. I pray that you keep that for your man as you develop, because you have the heart of a wife where, even though you don't have all the answers, there's a willingness in you to figure it out and then to do that. And a lot of women over time lose that.
Thank you.
It's not even an innocence, is a humility. So I pray that you keep that, and that you don't let any single friends, don't you let nobody destroy that, because that
Right.
there is the blessing to your man. So everybody in the chat, y'all, we stretch your hands toward to me, stretch your hands toward beautiful animated cheeks. I want you to stretch your hands toward the wife school, because these are our examples. And if there are good examples, I think our young girls got something to look up to. White school, what's up with you?
Hey guys, I'm here struggling trying to get into live tonight, and I'm just happy to be here. But you know, I'm at work, a working woman.
Hey, it's good to speak. I'm glad that you're on. Did you want to chime in on what we've been talking about so far? And then I got to get lost in translation because he's been waiting to cook. I've been seeing him.
Now, are you guys still talking about Princella, or what? What are you guys on now?
Oh yeah, that's her name. Yes.
Ray was grunting like, ugh.
Yep. So the question on the table is: most men aren't bringing anything. The woman is the value. Is that true or is that false?
I think. See, this is goes back to the beginning of the show when we were talking about how men, they don't express stuff because, you know, people make comments like that. You know what I'm saying? So they downing, bashing men. Now, why do I even have to talk now? Because you already have your preconceived ideas about what a man is. And so now you're bringing hundreds and thousands of women to think that there's none but worthless men out here. And so that's why they stay away. And the Bible even talks about it's better to be on top of a house than in the house with a nagging woman. What we're seeing is a nagging woman, and the men are like, I want to get my passport. I want to do this. I don't even want to deal with this foolishness anymore. And I believe that men are doing the work. You know, even if they didn't have dads in the home, they found you know, content creators like Ray was talking about. They developed the manosphere. They needed a place to go. They need their man cave online on social media, because sometimes women just be doing some crazy stuff. Let's just be honest. They be saying some crazy stuff and you're like, I'll be over here, baby. You stay over there. And men are doing the work and doing the value and getting their value and becoming aware of what's going on in the world. A lot of men are putting their heads down, following people like Ray, learning about crypto, learning about their finance, learning about how to get ahead of the game, not leaving their children starting from the ground zero. So they're doing the work. While the men are busy doing the work, women are just busy talking too much. Women are not busy trying to be feminine, not trying to be an asset to the women. So when these men do come up, they can find a good man that they're so-called looking for. And it just bothers me. It just kills me, because now, you know, when men are making strides and starting to have value, starting to have worth, then comes along the nagging women, such as Miss Ballcap. Like, what do you know about when you get into the mind of a man? Why are you so busy trying to get in the mind of a man for? What's your value? What do you bring? Who are you?
She brings caps.
All of them. She's all cap. And you know what? Like you can clearly see that she's intelligent. She's a wordologist. She can put some stuff together. All that stuff you're doing and all that, you could be helping your man build a book, helping your man with a podcast, putting him on. Look at the notoriety that you're bringing, that you can be partnered with a man to do that. But they're not going to give that up. So men have value. Women, they're on an ego trip. And as it was stated before, as from to me, I was going to say sister to me. Yeah, my sister. That a lot of women are out here just on a finesse thing. They don't bring anything. They just say, I bring myself. And Okay, well then you bring yourself, and then I can bring her, and I can bring her. So it doesn't matter because you're not differentiating yourself from any other hoe out here. Okay, so I think men have lots of value. Men protect, men provide. I'm not calling a woman to protect me. I'm not calling a woman to provide for me. I cannot procreate with another woman. So there's things that women just cannot do without the value, without the greatness of a man. And just using the words to devalue him does not mean that it's true.
Right.
So men do have great value, and women just need to sit back and let them be in their greatness. And then you can see something pop off.
I want to say something about the whole pregnant women are not supported. Women are not supported. At my job, I've never seen so many pregnant women having to work overtime to build up days for after they have the baby, to take off time because they weren't given enough time as maternity leave.
Mm-hmm.
To me, a pregnant woman shouldn't have to work and build up time to take off for after she has a baby. They're not even giving a damn about her health or the baby's health.
Preeclampsia.
Because, girl.
Especially in Black women.
The thing is, pregnancy is already a life and death situation. You can lose one or the other or both. And then you're going to have a woman having to work overtime instead of you giving her the proper time from the jump. I swear some of these places are just trash. Some of these businesses are trash.
But let me add this really quickly. Okay. Let me add this real quickly. A salute to the lead attorney. And everybody in the chat, just type in lead. And lead attorney is in the building. Salute to you. Thanks for being here tonight. Everybody, the Black Manosphere Conclave is coming up in September. Meet me there. The lead attorney is going to be there. The kosher clinician is going to be there. Shannon and Ross is going to be there. Obsidian is going to be there. And a host of other great men are going to be there. The link is pinned to the top of the comments. Guys, go there, show your support. This is going to be a fantastic event, and we want to get as many people there as possible, guys. So check us out. Much appreciation to you. But to your point, Beautiful Lady Mady Speaks, this is what women pushed for. You know what I mean? Like women pushed for, let me say it this way. Enough women pushed for it and not enough women spoke against it. And now they push to be just like men, and now they're being treated just like men.
Just like men. These are decisions. I mean, you actually get to see you can see your work policies before you partake in any job. Like these are all relegated back to choices. And since we're all apparently the same, I would say choose better jobs, to be honest. Like no one captured these women, put them on a boat, and carted them to these jobs. These are choices. You cannot have it both ways. You cannot have it both ways. These are decisions. I feel the same way about people who live in cities that there's no way in hell that they can afford to be in because they're not competitive and they do mediocre jobs. But they want to say, I'm entitled to live here. No, you are not. That is a choice. Like, if you're not getting the outcome that you want, as a woman, I would 100% be looking at every policy book in regards to maternity leave. These are things that are important. These are things that also, newsflash, ladies, these are things that are negotiable as well. You can put that into your hire package. Oh, this isn't enough. I'm going to ask for this. You don't just take what's thrown in front of you. Negotiating is part of the reason that men make more. Negotiating is part of the reason that white men make more. You don't
You're
just
right,
take what's
because
handed to you.
no one teaches that, right? No one
Right,
really teaches
100%.
that. People even think that the interview is just for the business to figure out whether or not they want to hire you, but it's also for you to figure out if you want to be working there.
Facts. Facts.
It's the interview works both ways. So
But you know,
you're right.
like
You're right.
when you're here in America, there's lots of things we are not aware of. We get pregnant and we go to these jobs, and our pregnancy is not labeled as pregnancy in the gentle time that we should call the woman. No, it's a medical condition. There's something wrong with you. So they don't even view it as this beautiful thing that you should be protected. No, it's a medical condition that's going to require a certain amount of time, FMLA, all these technical things behind it. And that's cost for that company and that business. That's how they view you. So we can't negate all that. You know what I'm saying? Like Ray said, pick the best place that's going to have those plans. They're not going to throw away their protection, their insurance, based on your little baby, or 10 baby daddy. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to do that because they got to protect themselves. And, there's nothing wrong with working. I worked with my boys. It was a high risk pregnancy. I had a hard time. They don't care about you. They really don't. And, but also we're in America. We kind of got it good. We can go in a room and pump our breast milk and all that stuff. You go to other countries, they got their children strapped on their back with wood all on their head, with a basket on their head, and they're doing a thing, and they are not complaining. So we really have it good over here in America, more than other places, and conditions and things like that. So I just think that sometimes we can be so entitled and everything just laid at our feet that we really, not really working on character and certain things of ourselves and being grateful. Like Sir Hill said, that aspect of humility. There's a lot of things that we're just letting go to the wayside because we just have it so good. Yeah.
Lost in translation. You have something on this, and then we're going to move on to the next. Before you do, let me show some love to our super chats. John the Baptist with another $5 super chat says, my screen is moving slowly. Sorry about that. Her earning is from the clothes she made and sold. She made her money at her husband's home. Proverbs 31. Every wife needs to know how to knit. If you're listening to this and you are a wife or want to be a wife and you don't know how to knit, it's a shame on you. I want you to get the materials, because your ability to do little stuff, that little creative spin, it can save you a lot of money. And I'm being for real about this. Like, your ability to know how to sew stuff up and make little blankets and stuff will save you money. It don't seem like it the first time you make it, but over years when you got stuff that you done built, I'm telling you, like, I come from that. Let me give you a little story time with Sir Hill. So early on, I was pretending like I had some money. I ain't had nothing, no money. I was hoping we got some wicks, some women, some infants, some children to get some milk and some eggs for my kids. I was broke. So what my wife started doing is she started couponing. And at first it's embarrassing because this is when you had the little coupon books you go get and cut the stuff out, and then you get your little book, that should normally be a photo album. And you use that photo album as a place where you put your coupons. And it was embarrassing going to the store. Everybody else just boop, boop, check out $20 here.
To do nothing.
But here's what happened. Let me show you what changed the game. So I literally seen that my wife, she had the coupons, rung up everything, and it came out to be like $100 and something, right? And I'm like, she said, babe, watch this. I said, girl, let me see what you're working with. So she scanned all the coupons. We ended up being owed some money. You see what I'm saying? I'm saying, like, those little things. Of course, when you start making money, you ain't worried about no coupons. I'm just saying, is knowing how to do what you got to do in the season you're in is a big thing, and every wife has to have that mindset. I said about the story time. Yeah.
Nah, you good. Like there were women at my job. When they had some like downtime, whatever, because they were waiting for work to come in. That's all you. They had them scissors working, okay, and we got like free papers at the job, so I was like,
yep.
They didn't even have the pot. They did not even have to pay for the newspaper. Everything free.
Yep. Listen, yo, like if you're not making a lot of money, because if you look at social media and you look at the world, a lot of y'all who are watching this feel bad because you're not where podcasters make you feel you should be. Let's be honest. Like we could talk at a certain level because we've arrived at a particular level because of work. But if we're all honest, none of us started out where we are today, right?
Mm-hmm.
It took a lot of work and failure. And so don't be ashamed of where you are. Take those steps and never be ashamed to do what you got to do to save some money in the situation you're in right now, because you're the only one paying your bill. So quit worrying about what everybody else thinks.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yep. Shout out to Black Man Filter. He says we should drop all alpha women in the Amazon forest for 7 days. How many will still be there after 7 days? Black Man says, see, y'all complaining about black men, but white corporate boards make you work while pregnant. Right. So I thank you guys for the super chat. Much appreciation. I love you. Thank you so much. Our final thoughts on this, and then we're going to move to our last topic. And we're going to only spend 15 minutes because I got to get some work done. Anybody final thoughts on this topic?
I'm gonna wrap this up, Sir Hell. I'm gonna work my way back through what everybody said because I got something to say about everybody else. Earlier, I heard y'all say that these jobs don't care nothing about you. They really don't.
Right.
Only thing they owe you is time worked and whatever the law allows. My thing is this: we're asking something from somebody who's only going to give us what they need. They pay us to do a job. And if we're not there to do it, it is what it is. It's just like in dating. If you go out with somebody, they don't do what you want them to do, it kind of is what it is. You're going to end it. But in the laws and you're working your job, you got certain protections. In certain countries, you don't have that. So we got to stop looking at our jobs as our saviors. Okay? Now, let's back this thing back up to Tamia. Okay, I heard you say something earlier that kind of ticked me off a little bit, but in a good way. And I'll explain to you what it is, because you probably weren't aware that you said it, but a lot of women say it and it ticks men off underneath their skin. You said, I'll help him if he needs it. That's not how that goes. You'll help him, period. Full stop. End of sentence. Right. I'm explaining to you what it is. A lot of women feel like I can go ahead and let my husband spend all his money on the family. And if he needs a little bit of help, I put my little bit in there. When you're married, it's 100%. Everything goes into the pot. And I think a lot of times what women don't realize is that men sacrifice a lot. And when they do sacrifice a lot, they negate some of the things that they want out of life too. They still have wants and still have needs. But if they spend everything on their family, they're gonna be begrudging that they even have a family, and they're not gonna go out and work as hard if they're not getting anything that they want out of the deal. You know what I'm saying? So that's the reason why it's important to praise your man when he does a good job, or even when he doesn't do a good job. Especially when he didn't do a good job, he's gonna need that motivation even more when he's down. So when I hear women say, "I'll help if he needs it," that's to me, that's giving I'll do just enough to get by.
When I said that, I meant like if in terms of spots that I'm not regarded to help. So I don't want to step on his toes. So if it's
I understand that.
Like
I understand that
thing.
Right.
I'll wait for his instruction. So that's
right.
What
I understand that, but you should not wait for his instructions. You should talk to him.
Right. So like when I say wait for his instruction, I mean like getting the go ahead and the confirmation that he is okay and comfortable with me doing that. Because I've done the opposite or talked to him and thought something else.
You're talking about anticipating. There ain't nothing wrong with that either. But at the same time, you should want to say, hey, look, here's the books. This is what we got going on. Okay, where can you? Your question should be, where can you use me?
Lost in translation. I hear what it is. Here's what it is. So, lost in translation is speaking at a level of wisdom you get about 10 years. To me, it's speaking at the level of where she is now. So you don't want your man to feel like you're stepping on his toes.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, Lost in translation is saying, is don't focus on the stepping on other toes, because men, if you just do it, is okay. Let me give you an example. A lot of men don't have it all together. Like if you under 30, you struggling to pull through. You got a nice place in the car, but you trying to build. It's emasculating for a man, whether this is justified or not, to go to you and ask you for help. So the way you encourage him is to not wait for him to have to be completely at a loss and embarrassed that you got to see him in a condition where he feels like you're going to lose respect for him, and be proactive and just do it anyway. And that way he doesn't get depleted. That's what Lost in Translation is saying, which
so
he
does
is
that
100%
count?
right.
So from Lost in Translation, so like, because I'm learning, you know, like, so does it count if like for moments where I'll ask him like, how are you? Is, you know, like, what can I do? Like, so my question is like, what can I do to show up for you in a way that you need? So like, I've
It could
learned
be
to
something as
translate
simple.
it.
Hey, do you need anything?
Right. So I'll do that because I've switched into that as opposed to like, do you need my help? I don't ask, like, you know, like, do you need my help? Because I understand, like Sir Hill just said, that's what I'm trying to avoid, that emasculating feeling of like, I'm not gonna come to you and pour out all my problems. But if I see something, or if I'm just checking in on a weekly basis, I'm like, am I showing up for you? Okay, is there anything that you need me to do? How can I make your day easier? Something that I'm actively asking him.
Tamia, no. So let me tell you this, and I'm gonna give you some real game. Like my wife does the same thing. She just asks me questions, and I've turned 36. I've spent years trying to understand that part. That's not how my brain thinks. That's too many questions. So here's how you do it. Instead of you asking your man, baby, you need help, baby, you need help, how can I help? What do you need? Which is a really good question. Help and give him the option to say, baby, I don't need it.
Got it. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And this is the part that a lot of women miss. In the midst of that conversation, while you're asking him if he needs anything, you're giving him the opportunity to ask you, do you need anything? A lot of women miss that.
Yeah.
A lot of women miss that. Yeah.
We saving lives tonight, y'all. We saving lives. Excellent stuff. Lost in Translation, good stuff, my brother. I appreciate it. Always bringing fire.
Thank you, sir.
Anybody want to give any? Well, no, we cooked that. It's barbecue done.
Yeah.
It's rotisserie. We're done. All right, y'all. If you're just tuning in, everybody, hit the like button, subscribe. Tell everybody to come on over here. Our last topic. I want us to listen to what this young gentleman has to say, and then we're going to respond to this, and we're going to wrap up the show. Everybody, before we do this, though, I want everybody who's watching tomorrow. I'm going to be doing a show, and I want everybody to tune in. It's going to be based off of this show, but y'all going to like it tomorrow. But for now, let's take a look at this, and we'll respond to this.
Women like money. So everybody knows women like money. Women usually be with guys till they can get something better. Facts. You know what I mean? Like
hypergamy.
Like you gotta understand that they're just comfortable until somebody comes along that's better. That's just like saying, if Drake came at any one of our girls right now, can Drake get her? You know what I mean? We all know Drake can get her.
We say that every time, bro.
So if you know that.
So here is the question, and I want to start with the wife school with the ladies first, because I know Lost in Translation and Ray are going to crush it. So my question for you ladies is, most women are in relationship with their wants, not with their man. Is that true or is that false? Let's start with the Wife School podcast.
Oh my God. Well, maybe today's modern woman. That's not me. I don't know, maybe the generation before now. That's a little bit different. But yeah, yes, women do like nice things. Women do like money. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. You have men out here that leads with their money, that leads with their material things to acquire the women, but it's like that's all you did to get her, you know. And so that may not sustain her. You know, she finds something better, she's just going to go with a man that has more. But if a woman is there for the, I'm so sorry. If a woman is there for the man, it's not going to matter if he's up or if he's down. She's going to be there to support him. And now she's going to bring that value that Miss Ballcap says that a woman has. She's going to bring that value in those times of his deficit.
Ballcap.
Yeah. And in those moments when he's down, that's when the lady shows her value. You know what I'm saying? And that's when he really treasures her. And when, like how you said, Sir Hell, when you have your come up, when you're back on top, I'm going to make sure my lady gets to sit down and enjoy herself. So that's the difference between, just being there for the physical things and actually being there for the man through thick and thin, That's how I see it.
Beautifully animated. Most women are in a relationship with their wants, not their man. True or false?
I mean, we spoke earlier talking about most women are materialistic. So yeah. Same answer to that. Yeah. And so these men who lead with their wallets to get these materialistic women, don't be surprised when you get dropped. You played into it. Oh well. Keep it real with yourself. Just keep it real with yourself. You know what I'm saying?
I think. Okay, so I do think women at first are in relationships for their wants because you say yes to somebody because they're fulfilling what you want. When you go to date somebody, you have things that you're looking for, and that person checks off those boxes. Essentially, those are your wants. And as you are with that person, you learn that person beyond the wants that you initially saw that made you say yes. And that's when it becomes, okay, am I with you for what I thought you were or for who you are, which is not their man, which their man is that is who they really are. It's the same thing when they're dating us. They see us on the nice dates. We present ourselves well. We get along. There's this honeymoon stage, and then that passes, and it's who you really are. And that's when it becomes like, was I here for my wants or just to truly be with you? So I think at first women are definitely there because you're fulfilling their wants. You're making them feel good. You're somebody I want to date. And then as time settles, you'll begin to see like, am I with you for what I thought you were or who you really are? So I think that gets established a little bit more, like down the road. But at first, it's definitely our wants. You're making us feel good until we see if you can keep that up.
Excellent. Lost in translation?
You already know what time it is. Listen, earlier we talked about women choosing the men they want, then they drag them to church and find Jesus. It's the same way. You know what I mean? They want to get the man that's already got the money, and then they have confidence that I can make him fall in love with me. That ain't gonna work. You know what I mean? It's not gonna work. Hey, he already know why you there. You know what I'm saying? You spot him. Women already know how to size you up. They start with your shoes, see what kind of shoes you got on, see what kind of pants you got on, see if you got a watch. You know what I mean? Check out your car key ring, see what you got. You know what I mean? That type of thing. See what kind of clothes you got on. They already know what type of person you are just by looking at you. They already size your car up because they already know you're not going to get no car loan that's more than 25% of whatever you make. So they already got in their mind, they multiply that times 3 times 4. They already know how much money you make without asking. You know what I mean? They never ask you what your passion is. They never ask you what's important for you. They want to know, well, what do you do? That sounds amazing. They don't ever come out straight and ask you how much do you make because they already calculated the ballpark in their head. You know what I'm saying? If you live long enough, you'll understand this is what they do. But my thing is this, yes, they already want the money first, but then they want to turn around and make that particular man fall in love with them. And to speak what these gentlemen said, if Drake walked in the room, and if they can take your woman, then you really didn't have no woman to begin with. You know what I mean? That's
Right.
not the type of woman you want to build your life with anyway. So somebody can just come in and just take them. You know
Let
what I
it
mean? That's the
go.
difference.
Let it
That's right.
go.
That's the difference between wives and everybody else. Drake just took and everybody else. You know what I mean? That's not a wife material. You can't build a family with somebody who's ready to leave as soon as somebody else shows up. So in essence, Drake did you a favor. And that's all I got.
Or Usher.
Or Usher.
He's taking
Yeah. Or Usher. Or some other woman. You know what I mean? Because you know
Mm.
that's a thing these days too. I heard.
Oh,
Dang. Not the Sonic sprinkles. Reckless Ray. Reckless Ray, it's on you, bro.
oh my goodness. You muted.
Mute demon got me. Okay. There's an echelon of women out there that seek comfort, and they do a what in the manosphere we call monkey branching, which is they grab a hold of one guy, work their way up, then they get into a higher echelon circle, and they go, oh, well, I picked this guy out because I wanted this lifestyle, but that guy looks nicer. I'm going to go over there, grab the next branch, and move on over. And they continue doing this process until they get their version of whatever perfect is. Does that make it right? Absolutely not. I mean, it's just what it is, though. I mean, if you're, I don't think that people should enter into marriage until they've secured what they want. And that's my opinion about it. Like if you're doing that with marriage, like the equivalent for dudes doing that is the chick who they marry when they broke, and then when they get some money and some status about them and they got more options, and then they make a different selection. It's the same thing. They were like, they couldn't get access to what they wanted, so they got access to what held still. And then once they found like they got access to what they actually wanted, they're gonna make some adjustments, and like these things happen. Again, is it right?
Is that a bad thing?
I don't think so. I mean, it depends on which side of the transaction you're on.
Let me give you a scenario. So let's say a guy is with a woman and she done held him down. Y'all know how y'all sisters be. Oh my God, I was with you when you was broken, didn't have nothing. I mean, go down a whole history. When you was wearing the same drawers for 3 days, man, you had to pull my bits out like that, right? I was with you when you was so let's say she had a woman who was with him at that level, and but he's on a different level now. His money different, his opportunities are different, and what he needs out of a woman is different. Is he obligated to stay with that woman who's no longer is useful for where he is? Is that wrong for him to leave?
Me personally, I don't believe so. And I'm an advocate of this. Is the reason I say you have to choose very wisely, because not everybody's meant for every phase of your life. Like there's people who will switch up on you after you start getting a not even successful. You get certain levels of success, and people start feeling a certain type of way. There's not everybody's built to be in that winner's circle.
Yes.
There's people that can be with you on the grind till you get there, and then they got to dip off because they're not meant for there.
You muted, Ray.
Dang it, I muted myself. My bad. They're just not there yet, and they can't be in that space. So like, if you're a man who's looking to get into that in that sphere specifically, and you're moving forward, and you're about growth, and you're trying to be the best version of yourself, you are going to inherently want somebody who is also trying to be the best version of themselves. And you doing that, you will cast a long shadow. You will create enemies out of people who were cheering you on till you started getting results. And then they will not like you, because it's going to make them feel some type of way when they see you go through what you went through and get through the other side because of what you chose to do that they refused. So at that point, if that's the scenario that you're in, absolutely, you got to get her up out of there, because now you have a cancer and an enemy in your house that sleeps in your bed and eats your food. Like you, that's just not going to work. Like, and that doesn't mean that either party is necessarily a bad person. That person just isn't meant to be in the space that you are now inhabiting. They're not gonna be able to exist there.
Yeah.
Well, a person who isn't useful is a parasite.
Also true.
I give a test. I attest to what Ray said. I'm in a trading group, right? So I want to learn how to trade and stuff. So my mentor that I look up to, he was with his first wife, and he's like, "Baby, I'm trying to do this thing." So you know that stage, baby. I'm trying to do this thing. I think I'm on to something here.
Right.
Mhm.
And I need you to grow with me in this. And
Mhm.
so in trading, you can't be emotional because you can
Mhm.
lose money and things like that. And it takes a lot of focus. So it was something that was serious for him because he knew that it could work. But
Mhm.
she was so limited. He said it was really depressing because it's his wife, you know, and he's expecting her to be on board. But
Yeah.
it just came to the point where she didn't want to grow. He wanted to have her there, but she didn't want to grow. So he
Mhm.
had to get a divorce. And then he had to step back from trading a long time because, you know, you got to mourn your divorce and all these things. And he got back and traded. And this dude, I'm telling you, million over whatever multi-million-dollar mansion in Puerto Rico, and you know the tax benefit there. I mean, he's just has soared. He has a beautiful wife that does that. I didn't want a woman that wasn't vegan because I'm vegan. She can't be eating meat because we got to do the same thing. We got to be mental clarity and all this. I'm like, see, he wanted what he wanted down to a T, like Ray
Mhm.
was saying, and they live beautiful, beautiful, humble people, willing, giving back, you know, but it was that grinding moment that he needed that person, and she wasn't willing to go there. So he had to choose
I'm
somebody better.
I'm glad he did that, and I commend him for doing that.
Beautiful people.
Yeah.
We got a panel of women who are
You
agreeing
gotta
with
be
this.
strong enough to let
Man.
It's mind blowing.
you gotta be strong enough to do what's right. And sometimes that means breaking up with somebody. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, like I always speak on choose your pain, short term, long term. You know, now if he had stayed with her, that would have been long term suffering. But he decided to divorce her. That's just something that it will hurt. You'll get over it because you'll heal and you'll move on. And he did all that. Mm-hmm.
Anybody else final thoughts on this one? Dang.
You know what? I was gonna say something fantastic, and I thought about it. I was like, you know what? They right. I was gonna say a man's metal is tested when he has everything, and a woman's metal is tested when the man has nothing. And I thought about it. I was like, you know what?
Well,
I'm gonna have to slide on this one because some people aren't built for certain levels. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I'll give you an example. Say, for instance, at a certain level where you have an opportunity where you are actually helping other people when you get to a certain level. You know what I mean? After a certain level, it's not about you anymore. It's about, hey, I got to give up more time so I can help a whole other family and other families. You know what I'm saying? Who else's life I can change? And if you're not on the same train as helping the man to help these other people's families as well as your own, then that's going to be a hindrance. 9 times out of 10, if it's the other way around, the woman is monkey branching to help only herself. And I think that's probably the reason why it's frowned upon. So, ladies, to give you guys credit, I kind of agree with you on this one, because if the man is actually helping his family and other families by him getting to the bag for real, then that's a whole horse of a different color.
A successful man can never monkey branch. That kind of man plants the tree.
Right.
Right.
But I did want to ask something. Is there ever a successful situation that you guys know of a woman who monkey branched and it turned out great for her? I'm just curious.
No. I don't hang with. I don't hang around this.
Everybody wants to deep.
I don't follow them.
Thought about it.
Can't
I don't
say I
hang.
know one.
I don't think they advertise those.
Well,
Sir,
no, hold on.
Wait
a second.
I mean, I ask that because women do it, right? I mean, I see a lot of women do that, but like the outcome out of all that, I never really see any good from that.
Well, I'll tell you. I can tell you how that works. This is how that works. So women will marry into a lifestyle and extract resources from that man via divorce to where she's set no matter what. Then she will go and get with the dude that she wanted to. It's not going to be the same caliber of man, but she'll go find a dude that she's physically attracted to, that rocks with her the way that she wants, and she will go be happy with that man with the other man's resources because she's taken the best of both worlds now. She's like, I got the resources from this guy. I'm good here. I don't need you. So they don't necessarily have to monkey branch up unless they are not in a position to where they're going to be able to keep that lifestyle by divorcing that man and taking from him.
She will never.
But if they are, then they'll go, because Bezos' ex-wife, she chilling. She happy as a clam. Like, out here doing whatever she wants out here in these streets, dating whoever she wants, dudes that she wants to date. Granted, Bezos is still in good shape. I don't understand what her problem was, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
maybe we can
she
look
gets to
at
do what she
J-Lo.
wants now. She can go
J-Lo's a
specifically on happiness because her lifestyle is secured forever.
J-Lo.
J-Lo is a monkey brancher. All right. And she's been very successful at it. She's gone from Diddy to these
She's
big
always married.
But I mean-
baseball players that have
That's successful.
spouses, divorce them or get engaged with them, you know, and then go to Ben Affleck, poor Ben. And
But I mean, that's successful. Like, so what do we mean successful?
Successful in the case that she's accomplishing it. These men
Yeah,
are marrying her. Like these men are marrying her. Nobody's telling her no. So not successful is as though she's a prime example or I would follow after her or you should take notes. But successful, if there was a monkey branching award, she's
J-Lo.
She's getting divorced and then getting married and getting divorced and getting
Well,
married.
I'll tell you what, she's kept up with her looks, so she presents it very well. And she presents very well.
shout out to J-Lo.
Yeah, she presents very well.
You know what, Sir Hell? I think our definition of successful is completely different from the rest of the world's. When I think of success, I'm thinking about a legacy. You know what I mean? Are you going to be somebody's grandma someday who's going to look back over the family and the family's going to say, Grandma, well done? These women's idea of success is Gucci bags and Birkin bags and what you call them cars, Lamborghinis. You know what I mean? That's their level of success.
That's for young. That's for young women.
A lot of name brand stuff that looks ugly.
Cars.
To me, that's not success. My success is securing your family's legacy, where they look up to you as somebody of wisdom, of knowledge, of somebody who's able to hold it down, to give guidance to the entire family. To me, that's my definition of success. Now, I don't know what their definition of success is, but I know that ain't it.
Well, I mean, like her value does go down when she does that because it's not only she thinks in her mind, yeah, I'm doing good, but from the public stance, it's like you're a whore.
Down bad.
And you got bodies on you, and like you got a new boyfriend this week. Oh God, girl, what is wrong with you? You need to sit down somewhere. So it's like while you think you are, you know, doing something, you're not. Like we got the Brittany Renners, we got the Larissa Pitkin, like all these, the Megan Good. Like it's just bad.
You know something about this though, and I'm gonna get us some last thoughts. The truth is, a lot of this may be a different show. But the fellas are gonna know what I'm gonna say when I mean.
Say it.
There's a lot of men on the podcasts that'll be like, Brittany Renner is a hoe, J-Lo is a hoe, all these beautiful women are a hoe. If these women call these dudes, those dudes, they all kind of hoes on podcasts. Them dudes would easily go with them kind of women, right? Because like it's easy to look at women from a microphone and judgment, but if they're in front of your face, your morals go right out the door. So I say that to say, I think men have to have a standard for themselves, and it cannot matter who it is. If they don't come and meet that standard, they're not getting in. I don't care how fine she is. And I think until men get to that point, I think men are just going to be talking. You know what I mean? Not walking the walk. But anyway, this is going to be the final thoughts. Thoughts, everybody. If you enjoyed the show, go follow Reckless Ray De Niro. Follow the one, the only Lost in Translation podcast. Y'all know you got to get femininity training with the one of the only Wife School podcast. Beautifully Animated Speaks is always going to give you a dope perspective. And one of our newest friends, a psychologist, a wife, a mother, a dope person, Tamir. Everybody, please be sure to follow. Let's give everybody final thoughts. Wife School, what's your final thoughts, and how can we connect with you as well?
Hi, I am the Wife School podcast. You can connect with me on YouTube at the Wife School Podcast, which you see right here, and also on Instagram. And the topic was should men stop pursuing a relationship and focus on their money? Men, please focus on your vision, on your goal. Women love a man that is on his purpose, on his goal. Don't worry about all that emotional stuff, because you have to secure your legacy. You got to remember your name. And that's what's more important. If she doesn't acquiesce, go to a woman that will. Okay? So be on your purpose, be on your goal, and be the best version of yourself.
My bad. Beautiful Anime Speaks is up next. So, final thoughts on the show and how can we connect with you as well?
So I agree with Wife School. You need to concentrate on your goals. So whatever that may be, that's what you should be doing. You can find me here on Sir Hale's show, on Black Man Unfiltered, and my channels are Beautifully Animated and Beautifully Animated Speaks, and I'm also on IG at Beautifully Animated.
Thank you so much, Beautifully Animated Speaks. Tamia is in the building. What's your final thoughts and how can we connect with you as well?
Okay, so final thoughts are that men should focus on their goals, their ambitions. Definitely focus on that. As mentioned before by these two wonderful ladies, women will be there, and women are definitely more likely to submit and respect you when you have your own drive and you know where you're going. So definitely focus on yourself and then go try to build a family. You can find me on Instagram at the Coach Mia, as well as TikTok at the Coach Mia. And then YouTube at Tamia Luster. Thank you so much for having me.
Dopeness. Y'all know what time it is. It's the one, the only Lost in Translation podcast. My brother, appreciate you being on. What's your final thoughts and how can we connect with you as well?
Sir, first of all, I want to thank you for allowing me to grace your podcast once again on this fine Sunday. Every week is a blessing to be on this show because I learn something every time I get on here. One of the things I want the fellas to know, that everybody says, focus on what you got to do, get your money up, this, that, and the other. I challenge men to think outside of the box for a moment, if you will. If you don't mind, close your eyes with me right now and imagine that you're looking down at your own funeral and your wife is about to say something about you over your casket. What would she say about you? So I would say this: make sure you choose a woman who's going to represent you on your final day. Okay? If you can't imagine this woman saying something great over you and over your life and how wonderful you were and how you made her life worth living, then I suggest you turn away from that particular woman. Take your time, gentlemen. Make something of yourself. Make people proud of you. So on your last day, somebody will have something great to say about you. Now, if you want to catch me, you can catch me on Friday nights at 8 o'clock on YouTube on the Lost in Translation podcast. You can find me here Sunday night on Sunday night on Sir Hale Speaks, and also on Black Man Unfiltered on Tuesday and on Friday in the barbershop and Talk That Talk Tuesday. Sir Hale, it's been a pleasure, and I want to thank you once again for allowing me to be on your show. Thanks so much.
I appreciate you, my brother.
And you said that.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I'm going to look down in your casket and I'm going to say, no, sir.
Oh, Lord.
That's right.
Yeah, lots of shows. Everybody really. So when we do these shows and I do the final thoughts and I say, how can we connect with you? Guys, this is not formalities. Like, I really want everybody on here to go to everybody's page, find them, and not only subscribe, but I know that there's a lot of podcasts, there's a lot of things, but even just popping in, leaving a comment makes a difference. Like, everybody on here, you can tell, got a unique perspective about stuff. And whether you agree with everything anybody says, you can take pieces of it and learn something. So please go and show some support. I love what the Wife School has been doing. if you look at her on Instagram, that's where I've been seeing her at. She goes through and she really gives information, and she's really become a sister for women, and a sister for men too, where she's giving women the truth and men understanding that they're not in this and that women see their pain as well. Beautifully Animated Speaks gives a perspective to let men know that you got an ally in women, and that just because a woman is strong doesn't necessarily mean that she's going to undermine your strength as a man. Tamia is a very young wife who's been at this for 5 going on 6 years, and she has the humility that most wives today just don't have. Lost in Translation podcast is a quiet but a methodical, cerebral person who gives you perspective that if you really listen into and apply it, you overcome outdated, antiquated concepts, and you got new thoughts for how to really deal with people, particularly your relationship. So go through and support everybody. Reckless Ray, a lot of us be lacking for his boldness, but brother is dope, and he says what people just need to hear. Everybody needs to support everybody on this panel. Now, Reckless Ray, your final thoughts, and how can we connect with you as well?
Okay, so we've touched on a lot of different topics tonight, folks. Spanning many areas. And the thing that I have to say is, young men in general, if you are not on your path, get on your path. If you are not, I'm not going to say focus on getting to the bag. I don't expect everyone can't. It's like literally impossible for everyone to just be at the top echelon of whatever it is. That doesn't mean you can't try. Focus on being the best version of you that you can be. Leave it all on the table. Do not go to your grave having held back. Do not go to your grave less than what you should have been, because you're going to die. And for those of you who believe in God, he's going to have like a scoreboard of all the stuff that he created you to do. And if you didn't do any of it, y'all going to have a really awkward conversation at those games. Oh, hell no. It's going to be a real hard time for him to be like, oh, well, you were supposed to do this, and this, and you were supposed to have this body, and you were supposed to have accomplished all these things. And what did you actually accomplish? Screaming about modern women on the internet and submission? Telling everybody that you made 6 figures from your mom's basement? Yeah, I mean, it's going to be some awkward conversations because he knows. And he got the scorecard for what he made you to be. But you got free choice. So whatever it is that you are trying to do, or wherever it is that you are trying to navigate yourself, be the best at it. Be the best at something. I think everybody is capable of being the best at something. Or at least trying your best to say, hey, I gave it my all. And maybe some of you are in lanes that you shouldn't be in, and you need to make a pivot. That is okay. Like, if you blatantly aren't good at something, there's no point in beating your head in the wall. Find your thing. Everything is not for everybody. We were created with purposes. And you need to find that, and you need to get in that lane, and you need to leave it all on the board. And everything that comes with being fantastic and amazing will come to you once you start becoming fantastic and amazing. But you got to earn it. No one's entitled to anything. You get what you earn. Men, you get what you kill. You have to hunt. No one respects the men farmers that didn't go on the hunts back in the day. We got more data of us having to hunt in some form or fashion than we do of us sitting around being stay-at-home dads, being sensitive, crying. It's just not what we're wired for. Doesn't make it fair, doesn't make it right. But you have choices to make, and wherever it is that you find yourself, be the best version of yourself. That's the thing that's important. The glitz, the glam, the money, the trinkets are not important. What's important is that you are the best version of you. Push as far as you can. Reach as far as you can. Because Even if you're not a believer, your genes are watching. You're passing data on to the next generation should you have children. Don't give them loser DNA. I'm your boy Reckless Ray. You can tap in with me over on Instagram at Reckless Ray De Niro. You can tap in with me over on YouTube at Reckless Ray De Niro as well. We talking money and crypto most of the time. I know I get on here and I'll be on people's necks, and sometimes I dog walk a little bit, but my bag is financial strategy and cryptocurrency. So tap in with me. We get your finances right.
Hey, y'all, listen, I'm sorry. I don't mean to brag, but I think we got the best final thoughts ever. And that was dope. Everybody be leaving gems. Much love to Reckless Ray, Lost in Translation, the Wife School Podcast. Love those frames, by the way. Shout out to the one of the only beautifully animated speaks. And to me, I want you guys to come back again. Let's do this again soon. Much love to the chat. Much love to the Quiet Storm for dropping everybody's links in the chat, showing that love. Salute to Lady Navoa, to all of our channel members, to all of our moderators, to all of our subscribers, and even some love to all of our haters. Much love to you. Have a great night. And I'll be back again tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. Hope to see you guys there. Until then, have a great night. Much love. Can everybody say peace?
Peace.
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 May I have your attention? May I please have your attention? Super Sundays. Yeah, baby. We're back at it again. Let's get it.
Let's get it. Let's get it.
Let's get it. What's up, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Sir Hill Speaks Super Sundays. I'm glad that you're here. I wanted to take a moment to tell you guys how much I appreciate you. We've been doing these shows for months now, and you guys have been showing up consistently as we take on and we tackle different challenges and different topics. So I appreciate it. But here's what we're trying to do going forward. We want to grow this audience to people who need to hear content like this. And so we need your help. How can you help us? That's a fantastic question. Be sure to make sure you hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe and make sure you hit that notification bell for all of the content that we have, particularly Super Sundays. All right, guys, sit back, relax, enjoy. Make sure you invite somebody to Sir Hill Speaks Super Sundays. We're getting ready to go in. We're going to have a good time. Happy Sunday, everybody. Let's get to the show.